Okay, everyone, we are about to embark on Viewer Democracy Choose Your Own Adventure. This will be the poll interface that we use for today. Uh, Someone pointed out that it looked sharp, and it is the Spikes theme, so I think that's an appropriate declaration. If you want to participate in poll, it keeps track of unique viewers, or unique, you know, viewers, users, whatever, participants. All you do is punch in a number, 1, 2, or 3, and it will register and update the poll. Like so. And then I will click Finish, and we can make the poll disappear. Your first choice is going to be what color background for this to use. This Choose Your Own Adventure story is utilizing the same engine as you've seen from Mecha Ace, as you've seen from Slammed, as you've seen from Heroes Rise, which I am looking to start the second game of that trilogy before this summer, finally, after all this time. It is one that I expect you folks will have heard of, if not played yourself. It is incredibly lengthy. I forget which of my friends gifted it to me. I think it's a role-playing friend, Manikai in Denmark, because he read through and enjoyed this. This was years back, and I figured that we'll settle down and at least begin it. I don't know whether we'll continue it. This is going to be a lengthy project, though. That's correct, Bodsy. It should not register the vote. But what do I know about technology? I will, before I make the reveal... Hell, I guess I can do it now. Let's disappear this text overlay. And let's make the game appear like so. Your first vote is going to be for color background, and I'll showcase the options first. We've got a black background, which is what we're currently using right now. We've got a sepia background. And then we've got a white background. If you have trouble telling the differences between the sepia background and the white background, I understand. There's the options. Black, sepia, and white. I've always played these with a white background up to this point, but I figured we'd kick it to the viewers for today. Looks like that is predominantly black. Alright, that's what we're going to be rocking with for this broadcast. Go ahead and end the poll a bit early. I'll let the polls go for at least a half minute, extending up into a minute and beyond if we get into a particularly contentious situation or high risk, or we have a tie. If need be, I will resolve any ties myself. I think we'll also hide the extra information for this broadcast, because I want to. Beware he who denies you access to information, for in his heart he dreams himself your master. Okay. Oh good. Train starting. Of course, a train does not pass today. That's not true, a few trains have passed today. Thank you, train. While it gets on with it, I'm gonna update what game I'm playing in the Twitch dashboard, instead of having it be the snarky reading simulator. Although this will be reading simulator. Alright, I suppose one other thing too is I can tease you folks before we even click off the screen. Is read the page a bit. Your robots will change the world. Will you show them the true meaning of love or conquer Alaska with your robot army? A 300,000-word epic interactive sci-fi novel. The robots you design will change the world. Choice of Robots is epic by Kevin Gold, where your choices control the story. It's entirely text-based without graphics or sound effects, and fueled by the vast, unstoppable power of your imagination.
Yes. Unstoppable.
Build a unique robot character. You choose everything from its shape to what it calls you. Instigate or prevent a robotic uprising. Teach your robots to love humanity or disdain it. Build an artificial intelligence suitable to take control of the world's governments. Start a war against the United States and win. Marry a human or an advanced robot and start a family. Play out 30 years of your life as a brilliant robot maker, from graduate school, near the present day, to a future in which your robots have changed everything. Depending on your choices, your robots may be independent or obedient, clumsy or graceful, empathic or cold. And you yourself may live to an old age, happily married or alone with only robots to comfort you. Play as male or female, gay or straight, with 9 characters to romance, 4 alternate climax chapters, and over 70 achievements to unlock. There are 72, specifically. Well, my loins can't possibly take this anymore. This game, just like yesterday, is about to extract all the gene seed, baby. I've chosen a comfortable font for me, but I may end up adjusting it over the course of reality, and just so we can break your immersion a bit, this is on a display capture. I had trouble registering the window otherwise, so back there, the beautiful desktop. Now that I've shattered your immersion, let's go. So, where are you? We're getting off to a great start already with voting. Where the fuck are we? In the court of the Egyptian god Anubis, answering for my sins? On a war-torn battlefield with a robotic Statue of Liberty? On a cliff in Ireland, watching the sunset with a robot companion? On a utopian beach ruled by a godlike cloud of robots? Alright. So a great start. It'll be great. Oh, let's, we'll do it after this poll. I'll show off our stats. Stats. Okay, looks like we'll be on a war-torn battlefield with robotic Statue of Liberty. That's where we are. Great start to our dream. Never covered this specific fetish before, but what the hell. There's room for everything. So, it's the year 2019. We are a 24-year-old unnamed protagonist with 90% humanity. Gender, question mark, who? Broke. Romance, none. And we got this stuff for our robot, and we've got a bunch of undiscovered relationships. Okay, on a war-torn battlefield with a robotic Statue of Liberty. You stand in a blasted wasteland next to the Statue of Liberty, only she's a robot with a glowing red eye on the right side of her face. In places, her green... This game's flowery text already is... I need a drink, hold on. As we lovingly and flowingly describe it. I believe that's Patna. Has been blasted away, or Patina. Has been blasted away, but I'm pretty sure it's Patna. Has been blasted away to reveal the dull lustre of copper underneath. She crouches before you, and her crackling torch casts shadows across her metal face and spiked crown as she looms closer. Far away, the sounds of bombs and gunfire echo from the mountains. You smell burning oil. I made you what you are. Her voice is hollow, loud and abrasive. Now defend me. From far off, you can hear the howls of robotic wolves and the thundering feet of other robotic colossi. Okay, don't worry, my robots will defend you. You are mistaken, my robots are kind and they will not fight. You are mistaken, I have hated you all my life and I will destroy you. My robots obeyed no one, I gave them free will to decide as they please. Free will? This is America, that shit ain't free. The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I need money. That's what I want. Yes, Will is innocent of this crime. I hear you. I hear you. Alright. Option 4 it is. My robots obey no one. I gave them free will to decide as they please. Indeed, you have always made your robots unpredictable, sometimes at the expense of their obedience or reliability. Autonomy. You are surrounded by a motley assortment of whimsical robots, juggling robots, robots trying to balance on unicycles, robots with Inspector Gadget arms holding flowers and megaphones, and God knows what else. You are a fool. You think your irresponsibility comes at no price, but when the dragon comes, your way of life will be destroyed. Dragon? What dragon? The statue is about to reply when a long robotic river dragon with chrome whiskers and tiny robotic claws comes flying through the air, hurling itself at the Statue of Liberty. The two robots become locked in combat, with Liberty trying to burn the Chinese dragon and the dragon's jaw stabbing at her neck. Why am I dreaming in political cartoons, you wonder? And as you realize it is a dream, you wake. Some things are in our control, and others not. Chapter 1. Assembly. Well, that was a good prologue here, Choice of Robots. If you will join me next Wednesday, not this week's Wednesday, we can get on with Chapter 1. You awaken with your head on a desktop keyboard. Your 3D drafting program is still open, the schematic zoomed into the recess, where your smartphone will snap into its back to act at its... Hold on, I gotta repeat that sentence. Your 3D drafting program is still open. The schematic is zoomed in to the recess, where your smartphone will snap into its back to act at its spring. Great, okay. You recall fiddling with that part endlessly last night, until, finally, your vision began to fade. There was a roaring in your ears, and you realized you had been working far, far too long. You must have passed out. It's the fall of 2019, not that far from now. You're a 24-year-old graduate student in the PhD program in computer science at Stanford, and you are a guy or a girl. We don't have a non-binary choice here. Yeah, what a hot take there. Not conforming to the standards of the poll. You don't own me, game. I won't do what you tell me. A close vote. We use on past 45 seconds. But it looks like narrowly, we're gonna be playing a girl in this one. As Bodsy actually casts a vote for the binary options. I'll bring it into the poll. I haven't voted. I'll resolve the tie. Girl it is. Whose name is... Nah, I got this for you. Yep, that's right. The exclamation point is a click. Nope, I got this. Yep. Gotta guess Rika? Nonsense. That's language misappropriation. So, we're looking around our apartment now. What the hell does it look like? That's right, a legend is afoot. My BattleBots trophy is perched on a widescreen TV equipped with the latest video game consoles. Neatly labeled plastic shelving units sit on a 3D printer-equipped robot workbench. Fucking 3D printers. Busts of famous philosophers sit next to my own attempts to sculpt them. My shelves display all the strange little robotic creatures I've made over the years. Perhaps Rico in this reality is furthering the glory of the sex industry by designing all sorts of wonderful devices. My mind went there, huh? Today is going to be interesting. We're already there. Great. Looks like we're going with option 2. Also slid off my headset. If any alerts happen, I will probably hear them through the speakers. Though my voice sounds different. I'm gonna get used to that. I'm not used to talking without my headset on during streams. Ah! Option 2 it is. Neatly labeled plastic shelving units sit on a 3D printer-equipped robot workbench. Great. Yes, some might say that your room has the sterile atmosphere of an operating room, but that is what your room is, an operating room for robots. Like a surgeon, you like knowing exactly where each tool is when you need it. Your robots have a similar sparsity of design. Plus grace. It strikes you for a moment that this kind of thinking about how your life affects your robots is second nature to you, though others might find it peculiar. You've always been fascinated by how every little detail of your life, from the content of your dreams to the decor of your room, changes the inputs to the robots you create. Boosts their empathy, or autonomy, or grace,
Or appeal to the military.
Surely there are other things going on around you as a result of your decisions, but they don't immediately strike you in the same way. Today, your robot is foremost on your mind because you're about to build its body. You pick up your laptop and head for the Stanford Machine Shop. It is a beautiful spring day in Palo Alto, California, and your apartment is only a short walk from the machine shop. But the streets are not designed for walking. You find yourself climbing around palm trees and balancing on narrow curbs as you do every day. You hear a low roar overhead. Glancing up, you see it's a flying car. Nimbus! A little over $300,000 can buy you a car with wings that fold out. Apparently this is set in this fall, so better get to it, chop chop. So that it becomes a small sport plane. The red Nimbus looks sleek and sporty. It's the sort of car its owner takes religiously to the car wash. Though the commercials would have you believe you can fly anywhere you want in those cars, the FFA still requires them to take off and land from airports. Only here in wealthy Silicon Valley do you see them with any frequency. The first time you saw one, you couldn't quite believe the future had arrived so quickly. But the second time you saw one, you thought, I will own one of those one day, I swear it. If I ever make that much money, I'll use it to help the world instead of buying that car. Why aren't those flying cars driving themselves? I mean, what's the deal with that? There's a little bit of compassion coming in for 2, and it just got overrun. Just completely driven over. Those votes just poured over, ran roughshod. Rico Musk, damn! What an opportunity. Alright, time to restart the story, everyone. Musk. Miss Musk. Okay. Option 3 it is. Why aren't those flying cars driving themselves? This is a query and a line of conversation that society itself is currently tackling. Autonomy. In your vehicular apparatuses. Apparati? Occasionally you see a self-driving car on the roads, but for some reason they still haven't caught on quite as much as one would expect, despite having been around at least as long as the flying cars. You've decided it's because people just don't trust self-driving cars enough. It's important to make your robots seem trustworthy. Intelligence alone doesn't instill trust. Empathy. The Stanford University fabrication shop smells like oil and burnt plastic. The room is dominated by large metal hand-cranked milling machines and lathes, dinosaurs of the 20th century, while the most used machines are the smaller 3D printers and computer-controlled water jet cutters that take a quarter of the space. The lights have the sterile fluorescence of an operating room. Well, that fits in with how we've designed our apartment, with only a single tiny window near the ceiling to inform you that it is day. Issue? What are you talking about, Metal Slime Hunt? You start up a national public radio podcast on your laptop. You haven't seen your advisor much since you joined the lab, so you choose the episode in which he's the interviewee. My guest today is Dr. Harvey Ziegler. Ziegler? The Ziegster. Zeeg. Zeeg, my man. Oh my god. I'm so done with myself. Z. The big Zed. Zedaruni. Says a woman with a soothing voice. Dr. Z, thank you for talking with us today. Well, a scientist does have some responsibility to inform the unwashed masses, Terry. You let the podcast run as you walk over to the 3D printers. What material have you decided to use for your robot? Alright, what material are we using to make this robot's body, folks? Plastic? Metal? Wood? Why are the masses unwashed? You know, for all the automation we've invested in this alternate reality, in this future fall 2019, bathing rituals and cleansing rites, as we know them, have been discarded in this society. Metal man or woodman? Well, metal blades are more useful than that damn leaf shield. 3D printed wood? I immersion! Ah! Okay. Option 3 carries the day here, though option 2 was, got some love. Got some love. But, we're going with wood. It is the most pleasing to the hand and eye. Though wood is an unconventional choice for a robot, wooden automata go back to the ancient Greeks at Alexandria. In Japan, they were called the Karakuri Nino? Nino. El Nino. Damn it, Grimith. While the other machines in this room can create things that are beautiful in their own way, your favorite machine is the 3D printer that extrudes a wooden filament mixed with plastic, a mixture called laywood. Las Grace. Dr. Ziegler, in your new book you talk about the singularity. Would you describe for our listeners what that is? Terry, the singularity is the coming time when artificial intelligences will have figured out how to make themselves and us smarter. Once that happens, the process will build on itself until the robots are smart enough to figure out how we can live forever. Is that possible? Living forever? Of course. What does it matter whether our operating systems are made out of meat or silicon? So you're predicting we'll become robots? Not exactly. But I do think the line between humans and robots will blur. You are hardly listening to the podcast because you're about to make your first robot part. What does the head of your robot look like? Okay. Binary choice. We've got a human face, as lifelike as I can make it, a simple box with eyes, clearly not trying to be anything but a robot. It will be felt-covered and big-eyed like a puppet, so people will not be afraid of it. It will have a ring of cameras around its head for a 360-degree view. It will look like a Venetian mask. Beautiful, expressionless, and otherworldly. We're being very graceful, like, and hauntingly so, like, eerie, like. This ethereal, like, grace quality to it, especially made out of wood such as it is. This lay wood. Lay down, wood. Lay. Lay, wood, lay. Okay. That is a very convincing pull, like, 5 there. 5 it is. It will look like a Venetian mask, this face. Beautiful, expressionless, and otherworldly. The 3D printer quickly creates the face, the small nose, the dainty mouth, the large black holes where CCD panels will absorb all light. It takes somewhat longer to add the intricate wooden frill that adds a corona to the mask. This is a robot that will command awe, tons of grace, a loss of empathy. Dr. Ziegler, what makes you think the singularity will happen now? Well, for one thing, I'm around. But seriously, my lab is taking a unique approach because we're saying, why not teach a robot like a child? going to equip the robot with the best sensors money can buy and teach it English. And it could rapidly teach itself using Don't do that. Don't teach yourself using the internet. It's not... Oh, that's annoying. Your advisor thought that a robot child was a stupid idea until you told him Turing proposed it back in 1950. Minus the internet part. But he isn't giving credit to either of you. You keep working regardless. How will your robot get around? Holy shit, 6 options. Alright, scenario choice here. It will walk upright on 2 legs, it will crawl on 8 legs, it will roll on wheels, it will fly like a helicopter, it will roll on tank treads, it will walk upright but will also have delicate wings it can use for balance. Delicate wings it can use for balance, what the hell? Listen, if Zerfall playing Base Wars has taught me anything, it's that if you put tank treads on something, it can still strafe flawlessly. It's like my horse in Daggerfall. Flawless strafing potential. Spiders look friendly and caring. It's just gonna walk upright on 2 legs? My goodness, this Paul. Alright. It's gonna be like an eerie fucking doll here. It's not even like a puppet. Like, because we even had like one of those options, but like, what are those like haunting like porcelain dolls that like sit on like a curio or whatever? Like this fucking like wooden face. Little legs dangling. Oh shit, this is great. I love this. It will walk upright on 2 legs. When the 3D printer is done with the head, you start the program that produces the torso and queue up the upper and lower legs. You think being bipedal will help your robot get along with humans, though it will also make it easier for your robot to trip and fall. So, from the Grace Empathy exchange we had last time, we basically had that again. You use the basic hand-cranked milling machines to drill holes in the head for screws, since 3D printers aren't the best for threaded holes. And who is going to raise this robotic child? The interviewer asks. Who does all the grunt work in a research laboratory? Professor Ziegler says. The graduate students, of course. You find yourself wanting to reply to the podcast. It's not grunt work. Education is critical to the robot's development. We also do all the real science. Perhaps you could learn something from doing a little grunt work yourself, Professor Ziegler. This Ziegler, we have not seen for some time, and is our academic advisor. Or so the game indicated. Stretches and cracks his bones. We're not having a choice that seems like stats matter. Doesn't really seem like a point to review them. Don't let the numbers blind you, just go with your desire, or whatever. Alright, option 3 wins. So be it. I doubt it, but I would join you if I had the time, says Professor Ziegler, who appears to have entered the machine shop behind you when you weren't looking. Perhaps it surprises you, but I do miss building robots myself, instead of chasing after funding. Professor Ziegler is a heavy-set man wearing a Hawaiian shirt and aviators. Are you fucking kidding me? This guy! He stalks over to your computer. We'll be back in a moment, continues the interviewer. We're talking with Professor Ziegler pauses the podcast by hitting your laptop's spacebar, and you flinch at this intrusion. He then pulls a cigar from his pocket and lights it, and the smell of smoke mingles with the oily smell of the machine shop. I'm writing a grant for DARPA, and I need to see what you're making back here. We ultimately get funded by the Department of Defense, so we have to make sure they're happy with our product. He casts a critical eye on the work you've done so far. This is a prototype, right? You're going to build the final thing out of metal? Alright, chat. How do we answer? Yes, sir. Telling the truth, yes, sir, but I'm lying. No, but we can certainly say it's a prototype of the grant. My robot is supposed to be a thing of beauty, not a tool of destruction. This asshole, fucking Hawaiian t-shirt, aviator sunglasses. I don't think I could possibly earn anything else. Dealing with all of these, the politics and the scheming to get funding, it's just so dreary and dull. Chat not too decided on this one. Sharp division between options 3 and 4. Though option 4 is ahead. So be it. Option 4 it is. My robot is supposed to be a thing of beauty, not a tool of destruction. Professor Ziegler gives you a scornful look. When the National Endowment for the Arts adds 3 more zeros to the size of its grants, maybe then we can concern ourselves with things of beauty. But I have a lab to run. No wooden robots. No lay wood. The sass to the mass. This guy. This is our academic advisor, who's also apparently running the show here. Organizing funding. Hello, hello. Looks like we're gonna be going with option 1 here. I thought you could sell anything to DARPA. Sell them this. My baby, my graceful baby. Professor Ziegler seems flattered. True enough. Alright, let's suppose this robot will be made out of wood. Professor Ziegler turns to examining your robot's head, which is currently sitting on the table next to the 3D printer. That seems alright. Looks like it could be sufficiently intimidating. And what are you planning to do for arms and hands? Oh my god. These fucking options. Hold on. I'll create the poll in a second. I just gotta stop laughing first. Give me a moment. Okay. Poll time. Tyrannosaurus Rex was the most intimidating dinosaur imaginable. It will have T-Rex arms. Rawr! It will have a gun for an arm like Mega Man. Mechanical grippers built for strength instead of dexterity. I was thinking sort of Swiss Army knife hands with tools that pop out of the fingers. I planned to build a soft hand with a good sense of touch. I was thinking, why just 2 arms? Why just 2 legs? It will have lots of arms springing out of its back like Inspector Gadget. Do-do-do-do-do, Inspector Gadget. What the fuck is wrong with you, chat? You went with 2 legs, but we can't be satisfied with 2 arms? You whimsical fuckers. Alright. Why only be satisfied with 2 arms? You know who Inspector Gadget is? I saw reruns on the Cartoon Network website when I was young. I love that show! But you know who's the unsung hero of that show? You know who the unsung hero of that show was? The Chief. Who was accountable in the end for the Inspector's fuck-ups? The Chief. Who got blown up by a self-destructing message every episode in the service of his country? The Chief. but nobody ever gave the chief enough credit. An awkward silence follows while your advisor ponders the character of the chief. Achievement. Finally, he shakes off his reverie. You know, with that many degrees of freedom, the arms are very likely to crash into each other. If they try carrying anything, it will be even more of a control problem nightmare. It's fine. I've already come up with a solution to that. You uncrumple a piece of paper in your pocket with a bunch of equations and hand it to him. It's true that this would be difficult for an average student, but I think you'll find...
I'm not your average student. Look at all my grades. Oh.
Professor Ziegler squints at your mathematics, then nods his head slowly. Fine. Carry on, then. I've got to go take a call from a New York Times reporter. Funny how journalists all copy each other's stories, but each garble the message in a unique way. He makes it to the door, then turns and says, Oh, one more thing. Do you think your robot can be ready by tomorrow? Someone from the Air Force will be in town, and I told her your robot might be ready to show off by then. You feel your robot vibrating in your pocket? Yeah, your phone vibrating in your pocket. That timing. You resist the urge to check it while talking to your advisor, but it's probably someone with a better offer for what to do tonight. Instead of spending our time making the... Okay, sure, whatever. Doesn't matter. No, there's no way this robot will be done by tomorrow. Sorry, the robot will be done, but a demo will be out of the question. We need to test first. Of course. That probably someone with a better offer for what to do tonight? Chad says nonsense. There is nothing better. Nothing. It's like building your own computer. Oh wow, option 2 crept over option 3, my word. What a time to be alive. Laying down and get a drink, and whenever I look back at the monitor, the entire situation will have changed. It has not. My word. Okay, option 2 it is. The robot will be done, but we gotta test it first. Professor Ziegler grudgingly nods. I can see the logic of that. Maybe we'll just send her a demo video, then it only has to work once. Professor Ziegler turns and walks out of the machine shop. You find yourself unclenching your hands. Who was calling you while Professor Ziegler was talking to you? Ellie? A user experienced designer and a supportive friend? The fuck is that second name? Eiji? Eiji? A manga artist and generally good guy. What the? I guess I'll put that option on the poll, but my ambitious friend Josh Anderson, founder of the startup US Robots. Sure. I'm warning you folks, though, if option 2 wins, I don't think you folks will enjoy what I'm gonna do with that name. Or maybe you will. A generally good guy. What the fuck? All around just a good person. Yes, yes. Now, what you have to consider is whether Grimith voiced his complaint about the number 2, knowing that it would influence folks, potentially, to vote for number 2. Thus, in his cunning way, deciding the fate of everything, because, you know, that's how he does things. You gotta think about the layers of nuance involved in the Spy Master, at least as SKS calls me. Alright, a very narrow poll. Option 1, though, wins. Option 3, like, crept up there at the end, too. Ellie, a user experience designer and supportive friend. I like supportive friends. From the missed call, your phone is displaying Ellie's profile photo. It's a picture of Josh and Ellie from the freshman welcome week dance 7 years ago. Ellie is wearing a red Chinese dress with gold trim, her long, straight black hair falling down to the fucking... Thank you for this... Sorry. Give me a moment here. Her long, straight black hair falling down to the... You know, it's been so long since I've even seen that word. We'll call it epaulets. The flash is too bright in the picture, making Ellie's pale skin look washed out. Josh is wearing his usual gray hoodie, not having bothered to dress up for the dance, and his arm is around Ellie. What is the story behind that picture? Let's go ahead and create the poll, quaternary choice, and then I'll read the options. I was in love with Josh's friend Ellie, but my studies always came first. I was in love with Josh, but I never knew how to be more than a friend to him. I had agreed to be Josh's wing person at the dance, and that's where he met Ellie. I was testing a music recognition algorithm when those two started bothering me. Oh, there's a strong fight for option 1. We could love Ellie. We could be in love with our user designer and supportive friend. No. The story of that photo is us being bothered while testing a music recognition algorithm. Alright, Summer, hear me out here. What if we designed a robotic lover? I mean, then you could have the lesbian tag and the robot tag. Uh-huh. Anyway, option 4 wins. You had actually come to the dance just to try out your music recognition algorithm in a congested social environment with poor acoustics, when those two, who were on some kind of date, you guess, came up and started bothering you. Ellie asked you some technical questions about your sensors, and Josh said that if you ever wanted to create a startup around your algorithm, you should contact him. You told him the algorithm was trivial, not really worth starting a business about. They both seemed impressed with you despite your standoffish behavior, and you agreed to exchange contact information, then shooed them away. They both since tried to get you to come out of your shell a little more, but you like your shell. It gives you space in which to think. For example, thanks to your efforts that day, the robots you make are often able to pick up on subtle cues in the music of speech, even in noisy environments. You notice that Ellie also left you a text. Ellie wants to meet for dinner at a jazz and sushi place in San Francisco, which is about an hour north of you. She also has tickets to a rendition of the musical Pippin, in which most of the characters are robots.
Sounds like a date.
It's a little terrifying. You text back. Sounds great. See you then. Afraid I can't tonight, sorry. Busy tonight, but do you want to come by tomorrow to see the robot? I don't reply. I prefer to pretend I missed the text. What will you do with this knowledge now, Galaxy Dude? I would now like to point out that this is probably why the participants in this poll are participating in this poll instead of doing something else with their time. Just shaking my head. At least option 4 didn't win. I'd probably have to fucking end the stream. Fucking ghosting people. What the hell is wrong with you all? Option 3 it is. Okay, sure, is the response. This probably isn't Ellie's preferred way to see you, but you really want to work on your robot tonight. You spend the rest of the... So... So, Professor Ziegler wanted to know whether, we'd have, like, the robot ready for, like, a demo. And we're like, no, we gotta test this shit. And then, we check the phone to see, like, how else we could spend our night. Like, nah, it's dumb. You spend the rest of the day drilling holes, polishing surfaces, cutting parts, and screwing things together. When you are done, your robot's body stands before you. A wooden bipedal robot with a mast head and Inspector Gadget arms. The whole thing is about 3 feet tall. Now it only needs a name. What will you name your robot? Ah, that is way too many options for a poll. I gotta think about this one. I gotta use my noodle here to come up with a name. Or select one of them. I'm liking a few of these on the thing. I believe the screenshots of the game have pickle. Which entertains me. I didn't even read that. Kill all. Oh, I'm like delving into like my name bake. Yes, my name bake of names that I would find amusing or delight at for the course of the entire series. The Cook Serve Delicious name is coming to mind, but I don't think I want to use that one for this series. I'm already having enough trouble with speaking properly. I don't need to have any other issues. Man, what was the I got an idea. I got it. I got it. Got it. Madison Rio. Yes. Now that Madison Rio has a body, it might be time to treat Madison Rio more like a person. With what pronouns will you refer to Madison Rio? Ellie? Damn it, crazy. That's pretty good. You invite Ellie over to introduce her to Ellie? Oh, man. That'd been pretty funny. I almost regret writing Madison Rio. Almost. Okay, looks like option 2 is going to be carrying the D here. Wow. Carrying the D. What? It is really a good thing you did not write the Cook Serve Delicious cook's name. Because we're in for a long stream. Option 2 wins. Refer to her as feminine. Encouraging people to think of Madison Rio as human-like as opposed to object-like should help her get along with people. You look on Madison Rio's 3-foot-tall bipedal body with satisfaction. Now all she needs are motors and a mind. The motors will have to wait for tomorrow, but you spent years in graduate school writing the code that would form this robot's mind. You can hardly wait to try it out. You head back to your apartment where you spend several hours working on the final touches to Madison Rio's natural language processing code. What language do you program your robots in? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Language, folks. C++, speed of thought is all. Python, it has the best tools for understanding words. Go, the most beautiful language. Java. Everybody uses Java. message. Don't do it, chat. I'm fucking serious this time. Very split across the board here with all options. Just program Madison Rio in a dead language. Boot up like Commodore 64 load times. Okay, option 3 wins. Go. The most beautiful language. Programs written in Go tend to be incredibly short and expressive. I'm not finishing the rest of that sentence. You believe there is beauty in simplicity. In code, less is more. You also enjoy using the command that gives the language its name, as you imagine saying to your robots one day, "Go think! Go create! Go live!" I wish I had skipped that entire paragraph. With the code done, you then briefly add just enough motors to allow Madison Rio to explore your room. It's a quick job, you'll do a more thorough one tomorrow. Your smartphone won't have much power for the motors right now anyway. Finally, you upload the code to your smartphone and plug it into Madison Rio's back. You touch the icon labeled Madison Rio, and a big red button fills the screen. Your finger hovers over the button. You probably want the first word Madison Rio learns to be significant somehow. What is the first thing Madison Rio will see when you power her on? In front of a mirror, looking at me, looking out the window, and I will just start naming things. Okay, Crazy, we've been working on this code for years, and we are living in the future of fall 2019, so, everything is possible. Anything. I guess. Sharp division here between whether Madison Rio will be staring at a mirror or staring at Rico Rico. Ow. That's what I get for stretching irresponsibly. Damn it, Grimith. I'm being overly clumsy today with my tongue and with my feet. That's right, Rilder. You are very correct. Alright, we'll bring it into the poll there. Strong division, but option 2 wins. You activate Madison Rio facing you. She looks into your eyes. You've heard that many animals imprint on the first living thing they see, usually their mother, and that they love this being instinctively. You're trying to create this experience for Madison Rio as well. As Madison Rio looks into your eyes, you call yourself... This is important, chat. You need to think really hard about this. Master, that should say mistress. Sensei, Rico, ma'am, mother. Sensei! Not like I like you or anything, baka. That's when we discovered that we're actually playing Yandere Simulator, and fucking Madison Rio is like fucking peeking around a corner to murder all these, like murder Ellie who's trying to impress Sensei. What word do you want to hear Grimith read the most? I guess is the question. It looks like that's going to be Rico. See? I told you folks to think hard about it. Now you are filled with regret. Alright, option 3 it is Rico. You think being on a first-name basis with Madison Rio will help you get along. Rico, you say. Rico, she repeats. You then pick Madison Rio up and put her down in the center of the room to allow her to explore at will. But at first, She simply seems overwhelmed by the possibilities. You decide to call this state... What do we call this overwhelming choice paralysis here? Confusion? Curiosity? Loneliness? Chad is certainly telling a heartfelt story here of tender love and care for this robot. Being on a first name basis is fine. We can just call the robot Madison. Also saves me from reading a word. Okay, option 2 wins. Curiosity. Curiosity, Madison Rio repeats. Autonomy. She walks up to your closet and peeks inside, but it's something of a mess in there, and she quickly gets her bipedal moving parts caught in your clothing. You pick Madison Rio up in your hands. She wriggles nervously. I got you, I got you. You got me, she continues to wriggle. Stop. Your robot becomes still in your hands. You decide to teach her that the word for this state is weakness. I know what I'm voting for. Oh no, Chad. Oh no. Oh no, Chad. You have to, Metal Slimon. It's important. Oh, shit. Becoming completely still in my hands is weakness. Oh, shit. This is great. I mean, I eagerly rushed forward to make the vote as well. I had no idea. Oh, that's funny. Option 4 does win, though. Didn't even need my vote. Weakness, Madison Rio repeats back, and you have set the stage for her to fear and despise failure in herself and others, grace and autonomy. By now it is near midnight, and you have another busy day ahead of improving, Madison Rio. You get ready for bed, leaving her plugged into the wall with your cell phone charger. Stay there. Madison immediately stays very still, so still that while you are drifting off to sleep, you glance down at her just to make sure her code didn't crash. But she is still there, looking up at you adoringly. You think she will probably remain like that all night. Alright, we're coming up on Chapter 2 here. Let's take a look at the stats. Our humanity has gone a bit down. We started at 90%, we're at 81 now. Madison Rio has plenty of empathy and grace. Sort of wheels his head to look at the stairwell leading down, where he is hearing noises. They make him suspicious. Hold on, I need to check that. Alright. Everything is fine. I want to classify that is not my problem. Let's continue. Summary of completed chapters. On the day you first built Madison Rio, you awoke from a dream about a robot Statue of Liberty to head to the lab. Your graduate school advisor pressured you to make Madison Rio more acceptable to the military. After some back and forth, you ended up making a wooden bipedal robot with a masthead and Inspector Gadget arms. Then you went back to your place to teach Madison Rio some words. Okay. The next day, you take Madison Rio to the Stanford hackerspace, which has more tools for electronics than the fabrication shop. None of the other students are around in the morning on a Sunday, but the long stainless steel workbenches are littered with their strange, half-finished projects. A half-disassembled Furby, a potato gun, a circuit board connected to a houseplant. Ellie knows you'll need a little time with the motors, so she is coming in later. Sorry, Madison, but I'm going to have to power you down for a moment. We're going to switch you to a new power source. You here? Yes, I'll be here. Okay. You fiddle with the smartphone lodged in Madison's back, exit the application that is her mind, and power it down. What will you use for a power source? How the hell are we going to power Madison Rio? A car battery? A motorcycle battery? A biodiesel engine? Cell phone batteries made in China. So a car battery is big and bulky, but also inexpensive and locally made. A motorcycle battery, not quite as bulky nor as powerful as the car battery. A biodiesel engine is good for the environment and everyone likes the smell of french fries. And the batteries are lightweight and cheap while providing reasonable power, clearly the best choice for a dexterous robot. Well, perhaps we're not like Doc Brown in Back to the Future, who gets his hands on plutonium and then gets shot to death by Syrians. Right? Then Marty McFly has to use the fucking DeLorean with the flux capacitor to travel back in time. Well, I mean, he's flung back without consent, really. Just wanted to not die. Anyway, that story is irrelevant. I'm just going to terminate that story right there, and we're going to move on. Option 3 wins, a biodiesel engine. You're more environmentally and socially conscious than most inventors, ready to sacrifice some elegance in the name of saving the planet. You have your buckets full of leftover grease from nearby fast food restaurants all ready to go. People near Madison will find her smell of McDonald's french fries strangely comforting. I mean, I probably would. You'll need a lot of motors to be able to power your full robot, in addition to the motors she needs when she walks and the motors to power her Inspector Gadget arms. She also needs motors for moving her head and eyes. But after speccing out the power available to you, you can still splurge by adding extra motors in one place. What will that extra splurge for that extra motor be? Freedom in the face for realistic facial expressions in our mask. In Madison Rio's Inspector Gadget arms for fine manipulation, or prefer to save the power for Madison Rio's mind. The greatest processor of all, your brain. Feeling brave tonight? How brave? Brave enough to do battle with hideous advisors? Brave enough to sneak around dank McDonald's in the dark and chance being the next victim of a biodiesel strike? The Libyans surely will not come after us now. Alright. Option 3 it is. So it shall be. Her mind. You decide not to add any more motors to Madison Rio. The extra power could be used to overclock her multi-core CPUs instead. Plenty of autonomy. You suppose you could call Madison Rio hot-headed. Sorry. It's about lunchtime when Ellie enters the hackerspace wearing a red blouse and polka dot shirt fit for the summery weather outside. She's carrying a translucent blue container full of stuffed grape leaves, which she sets down on the countertop of half-finished projects. Hey, Rico, I thought you might have forgotten about lunch, so I brought extra for you. Alright, chat. Here we go. Contact with a human being. I know it's hard for you sometimes. Today, and how rude will Chad be? This could power the biodiesel, everyone. One is a question. That is factually correct. Although 2 also has a question inside of it. 3 is the only one that doesn't have a question. Oh, MSH. Brutal. Option 2 narrowly wins. You brought lunch for me? Thank you. You shouldn't have. Of course. She brings over the stuffed grape leaves and you help yourself. Ellie examines Menace and Rio's body. It definitely looks a little odd. People won't be quite sure what to make of it. That's probably good. I want her to be her own thing. You hold down the power on Menace and Rio's back and she boots to life again. Good morning. Good morning. Cute. Madison walks toward Ellie. Ellie cautiously waits for Madison to approach. The robot does so and extends a gloved hand out of her back. I am Madison Rio, she says. Ellie, pleased to meet you. They shake.
Estimated strength of Ellie's relationship with Madison Rio, 50.
Oops, I left some debug statements in. 50, huh? What's that out of?
Estimated strength of Ellie's relationship with Rico, 54.
Ellie blushes. Madison Rio looks to you. I think we will be friends, Rico. That's all for now, you tell Madison. I am impressed by how far you've come. I didn't know your robots could speak. These are still mostly stock phrases I programmed in. I need to train her to speak for real soon. You should show Josh. He'll be so excited. Maybe I will. Then she looks at the clock on the wall. Crap, I'm late for a volunteering event. I've got to go. You didn't even finish your lunch. I'm a busy gal. Well, I'm done here, too. I'll walk with you for a bit. Sure. What kind of volunteering event is it? You're interested? It's teaching science to elementary school kids. You could show them Madison Rio. That would be perfect. Now would be a good time to show Madison Rio to Josh to see whether he's interested in funding her further development. Also, just for confirmation, Ellie's relationship with us is a 54. It's like Madison Rio knows. Anyway. So, we have an option here of showing the robot to Josh, as Ellie suggested, or we could go help some kids together, which is absolutely in my wheelhouse. Fix the little things I noticed during the demo before I forget. I should probably get a new phone in case Mom wants to call tonight. What option? What the fuck, number 4? What the fuck? In case Mom wants to call tonight, you know. She'll probably get a new phone. I know, what an intense live test that would be to take the robot around elementary school kids. That's one hell of a stress test right there. Just throw her right into the fire. Okay, option 2 wins. Sure, let's go help some kids together. I don't know much about kids. Ellie seems pleasantly surprised. You just finished your robot? And you're willing to drop everything to come with me and teach kids? Yeah, what can I say? I like hanging out with you. Ellie's smile is clearly pleased, disbelieving of the fact that Rico could really be this kind. You keep Madison Rio running, cradling her with one arm as you make your way to the local library with Ellie. It's a typical, pleasant, sunny day. and you wonder what it's like to be a robot looking up at the blue sky for the first time. Madison appears particularly interested in the palm trees lining the path to the garage. Binary choice. Are we going to teach our baby robot words for things as we pass, or ask Ellie how she's adapting to the city? This is salvageable. Okay, priorities so far for this chat is robots first, Ellie second, and then everything else after that. That's right, crazy. Responsibilities. Important. Well, there was one vote for option 2. Option 1 it is. Palm trees. Palm trees. White palm trees? Clouds. Clouds. Ellie smiles encouragingly, but you get the feeling she would have liked to talk to you on this walk, and Madison is sort of dominating the conversation. So, the robot you programmed is dominating a conversation that you could instead have with Ellie, but truth be told, you're not a great conversationalist anyway, Chad. You briefly wonder if this is what it's like being parents of a newborn, between parents of a newborn. Madison turns her attention to the sun. Blinded, she panics and flails her inspector gang. So, this 3-foot-tall robot we're cradling in our arms as we're walking, with, like, the wooden mask and, everything. And so, like, looks up at the sun, begins flailing all of those damn arms. In our arms. Hey, look away, don't look right there. But Madison resists you and continues to struggle to look at the sun, the most salient thing in her vision. After a while, you give up and just resolve to make her attention code a little less single-minded. So focused on doing things her own way that, well, she's decided to stare at the damn sun. We gotta fix that. I never thought of you as parental before. You shrug. Learning mechanisms need feedback. And Ellie gives you a funny look in response. The science mentoring program is a little rowdy when you get to the library's activity room. The young librarian who had been stuck with babysitting until you and Ellie got there is grateful for the relief. Ellie manages to calm the kids down long enough for a brief lesson on botany, showing the kids the plant project she's been working on, but the kids keep looking at it and asking about the robot. Are you going to let Madison Rio play with the kids? Hell no. Sure, she's strong enough. Or I'll try to turn it around and have the kids teach Madison Rio about science. There you go. Have the kids do work for you. Yes, her invincible wooden frame. With her incredible military of one. Oh no, they're gonna tear her apart. Alright, let's see what these elementary school kids can teach Madison Rio. I like it. Based on the choices we made thus far, I would have picked that myself. I have an idea. Why don't all of you try teaching Madison something about science? Madison is trying to learn everything she can about the world right now. You find that you have enough charisma in you to convince the students that this is a good idea, and Ellie runs with your brilliant idea. Soon the students are explaining to Madison all kinds of scientific facts, and the robot's questions make them think about things they take for granted. What is a cloud? Many of the students look at each other in puzzlement, but one girl says, it's water. Why is it the case that the water does not fall? The students look to each other in puzzlement again, and Ellie explains water vapor. She missteps and tries to talk about seeing the vapor they breathe out on a cold day, only to discover that many of these young Californians have never had vapor they breathe out on a cold day. They have no idea what that experience is. By the time the students leave, they and Madison Rio have learned a fair amount from each other. As you leave the library, Ellie thanks you again for volunteering. You think back to your 7-year-old self, the excitement of opening up a robot kit for the first time, and you feel good about it. Maybe you've sparked some robot dreams among those kids. I'm so proud of you all. The next day, the new semester begins. Though you're past the point of taking classes, you're a teaching assistant. Oh, fuck, we're a TA. And that means instead of doing one homework assignment, you grade 50. You're also busy writing a grant proposal for the National Science Foundation, trying to get an alternate source of funding that doesn't involve the military. Grant proposals are very long, it seems, and require you to make a lot of claims about things you don't actually know yet. Despite your other time commitments, you've managed to sneak in a little time to work on Madison Rio's motor programs. You soon realize that while you're busy, Madison could be learning from the internet. The most important thing for machine learning is more data, and there's a lot of it out there. Lately, there have been a lot of custom hard drives in the market that are good at quickly retrieving particular kinds of information. What sort of hard drive did you order for her long-term memory? So, we've got a media-enhanced hard drive. Good for quickly recall... Sorry. That's fine. I did it fine. I thought I chose the binary choice instead of the trinary choice. Ternary choice, excuse me. A multi-blade hard drive that can efficiently store and query a giant amount of data, or an encrypted and tamper-proof hard drive, making it more difficult for her to be tampered with or reverse engineered. I feel like this is one of these like episodes, like in like a sitcom or like a drama television series, where where characters in the show have gotten like temporary control or command or ownership or possession of a baby. Like 3 Minute a Baby, or you know, like those parental classes where they give you like a mechanical baby to watch over and guide. I feel like we're here right now with chat. Anyway, option 3 wins. Both in business and on the battlefield, it can be important not to leak secrets. Madison will have a hard drive that will give miscreants a hard time reverse engineering your design. Military, first time. However, encryption and decryption is slow, and sometimes there will be a noticeable lag before she can retrieve relevant memories. Race. You lay Madison on your kitchen table, unbox the hard drive, and hook it up to her back. She squirms and flails her Inspector Gadget arms as you do this. Now it's time for her to learn about the great wide world. You sit her down in one of your kitchen chairs and plug her into your apartment's high-speed internet jack. How will she rapidly learn a lot about the world? Alright, chat, we need to think about this carefully. How is your baby going to learn about the world through the internet? Randomly going through the internet, television programming and movies and fast forward, undergo a classic educational curriculum, or quickly play all paths of a giant of interactive fiction games. Oh boy. We'll hit up that AIF section. Yeah. Choice of bobots. Of brobots. Choice of brobots. I like it. I'm so clever. Gotta keep the throat lubricated. Okay, option 3 is winning here. So, it shall be the case. Option 3. You don't want your young robot growing up on junk after all. Really, remember folks, you have to curate the content that goes into your minds. Like, you're responsible for that. You feed her the carefully selected and vetted reading list for the local school system. Because it's a relatively small data set, you have programmed her to make several passes over each grade level material. Each grade level, as debug output, you have her report what she considers the most important things she learns at each grade. For kindergarten, she recites the alphabet and counts to 100. For first grade, she says, Reading helps you learn more, and so on. Each grade takes about 10 minutes to fully ingest, and is followed by an additional 10 minutes of simulated experiences in which she tries to make friends, avoid bullies, learns swear words, endures assemblies and pep rallies, and gets picked last for dodgeball. As a result, she appears to be learning. Oh my god. That's what we all need to have experienced in life. Like, we go through the grades quickly, and then we have 10 minutes of simulated experiences of hell. She spends the most time of all considering 12th grade until she finally says, whether to exist or not is the most important question. Madison blinks and looks at you. What is the answer, Rico? Is it better to exist or not? Hamlet did not answer this for me. You are so floored by the question you are hardly able to speak. It worked! Madison looks at you expectantly, wondering whether it is better to be or not to be. Okay, it is better to be. There's so much in the world for you to experience. It is better not to be, but misery loves company. There are some questions that are unanswerable, or that is a question you will have to decide for yourself, which, I'm not gonna lie, like, part of me thinks that option 4 is cool, and part of me also thinks option 4 is a total cop-out. Like when you're, like, directly answered, like for your opinion on something, like, you have to figure it out on your own. Almost comes across as a cop-out. I don't know. I haven't decided. Unsurprisingly, given Chad's current attitude, option 4 is carrying the day here. That's right, decide for yourself, Chad. This is a cop-out. Okay, option 4 carries the day. Shakespearean, discussed Hamlet's age-old question with your robot. But why can't you simply tell me? I have given you the ability to decide for yourself. You should use it. You also think to yourself, and if you figure it out, perhaps you can tell me. So she's regained autonomy. Hopefully she won't stare at the damn sun again. You establish a habit of bringing Madison with you to your office during the day so that she can make use of Stanford's high-speed internet connection while you write and grade papers. You then usually go to some public space after work so that Madison can play around the real world. Where do you take Madison? So, do we take her to the park playground, where she can enjoy the equipment with her Inspector Gadget arms? I mean, it makes her great for the jungle gym, right? Like, when you play that game where you're hanging on one side of the monkey bars and your opponent's on the other, and you're trying to, like, drag them down using your legs? Well, I mean, she's got so many damn arms that I don't think human legs are going to be bringing her down. Then again, she is a graceful, svelte, 3 feet tall. Probably not that strong. Probably doesn't matter how many arms she has, huh? Just think of how many guns she can wield simultaneously at this age. Think about that. It goes far beyond dual wielding with all of her Inspector Gadget arms. The military possibilities are endless. Anyway, we're going to the dump. That's, Oh no! We've tied! Oh no! Option 1's crept up there at the end! Here I thought we were going to the dump. Right there at the end. We squeaked past. Option 1 narrowly defeats Option 3. Madison loves the playground, and she lets out a robot chortle of glee when she first learns to kick her legs to swing higher and higher. Madison takes a particular liking to the monkey bars, which she navigates deftly using her Inspector Gadget arms' tons of grace. The other parents at the playground are somewhat divided about what to think about her. On the one hand, you have the parents who are in the tech industry, who are often very excited to have their children interact with robots. They're surprised to see a robot like Madison, but maybe not as surprised as they should be. Maybe they're just jaded by wire articles, and the popular press making it seem like Madison was possible 10 years ago. On the other hand, some parents simply accept Madison's presence as just one of many things they don't quite understand. The kids themselves don't really seem to care what their parents think. You've got the kids who cry when their parents shove them towards Madison, and the kids who want to stay when their parents pull them away. You can't really predict who's going to like Madison and who won't. But Madison seems to be learning, picking up on subtle cues, so that sometimes she says goodbye before the kid has even turned to run. You finish your grant proposal for the NSF, promising a robot that will be able to understand human emotion better than any robot has come before. Okay, that seems important. That this is what our grant proposal is, so if we're looking to secure funding, it seems relevant that we work towards that. A few weeks later, you find a form, letter, email in your inbox. We're sorry to inform you, many excellent applications this year encourage you to apply again. Discouragingly, you find that many of the reviewers talk about your advisor instead of you. Some of them barely seem literate, while others seem erudite, but just didn't pay attention to what you wrote. The one thing that strikes you as directly aimed at you, though, is that a few of the reviewers essentially say that your work could be more focused. You're interested in too many things, one says. Science is about studying a very specific problem to death. It sounds like your robot wants to do everything. You close your email client and sigh. You're in your office and Madison is seated in your ever-absent office mate's chair with her eyes closed, listening to the information flowing through her Ethernet cable. Do you want to try everything, Madison Rio? She peeks through one open eye. Yes, Rico. You nod. Me too. Aww. Alright, Chad, we want to do and try everything, remember that. You're in your office contemplating what to do about this when Professor Ziegler opens the door without knocking. You smell the whiff of smoke on his Hawaiian shirt. We need to talk funding, Professor Ziegler says, grabbing a swivel chair to straddle the wrong way. He sidles up to Madison, whose eyes are closed as she explores the internet through her Ethernet cable. When Ziegler's swivel chair squeaks, she perks up and looks at him. Professor, Ziegler pays her no attention. Your robot here is simply not appealing enough to DARPA. It's too friendly. Madison sinks a little in her chair, but the professor pays her no heed. Now, in crafting a message, you just have to make sure the audience doesn't hear more than one thing at a time. Right now we're saying two things. This is a good robot for military, and this is an emotional robot. What we need to do is tone down the emotional part so the military angle comes through more. You might think we need more military. We actually just need it to be less emotional. Very easy. You're asking me to reduce Madison Rio's empathy from 14 to 4? No way. Not happening. I suppose if it's the only way I'll complete my education, I'll do it. Can't I just turn her arm into a gun or something? My offer is sincere. Folks get a sense of... we'll look at the stats after the poll. I mean, we got plenty of arms, right? Robots too friendly, everyone. It's not impressing the military. Okay, looks like option one's winning here.
Oh my god, JC, a bomb!
A bomb! Yes, it is 14. We could make it buggy. Military score currently is. No way. Professor Ziegler's eyes narrow. You privileged students are all the same. You think this is all for your benefit. But someone pays your salary at the end of the day. All this has a price. He storms out the door, not bothering to shut it on his way out. I hope you appreciate that, you tell Madison. I think I feel something called relief, says Madison Rio. But you don't. So, we're working on our PhD. We're a teaching assistant, wrote for like a grant thing. Someone pays your salary at the end of the day. Is that all this? What? Near the end of the semester, you notice a message on your office phone. You're not really sure how long the light has been blinking. You don't really think about landlines anymore. You find the department webpage that describes how to check your voicemail, reset the pin that you apparently chose when you first started graduate school, and listen. Hey Rico, this is Mark over at SanFranciscoChronicle.com. I heard you have an interesting robot that you've been taking to the park, and I'd love to do a story about it. Give me a call back. You glance over at Madison, who is seated at the desk of your hypothetical all-but dissertation office mate, whom you have never seen. Madison is looking at the landline phone with interest. Who is service says SanFranciscoChronicle.com is registered to the San Francisco Chronicle. San Francisco Chronicle is a newspaper that started its website in 1994, 24th in national circulation. Mark is a reporter. Shouldn't you be studying? You ask, pointing to the Ethernet cable running out of her back. Bayesian? Bayesian. Yes, wink wink. Reasoning over publication rates suggests reporter's full name is Mark Ali. Madison Rio says her eyes closed. Mark's article with most social media likes is How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love DARPA. Article explains that DARPA stands for Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Hesitates for a moment. Aforementioned article appears to contradict title. Reporter does not seem to have stopped worrying. Adjectives that bind to nouns describing DARPA and its projects, crazy, Orwellian, imperialistic. Overall sentiment analysis is negative. Like I said, Bayesian. Thank you, Madison Rio. You look at the guy up on your phone. The picture you find of the stubbly young Egyptian man with tousled black hair, hipster glasses, and a cigarette between his lips is probably outdated, but the disrespect for authority the man radiates is probably timeless. You admit a part of you has always wanted to be famous, but you suspect this reporter also has done his homework about your advisor, and he may already have an intended angle for this story. Still, nobody on this planet has a robot as amazing as yours. Isn't it time you told the world about her? You play the message back again a few times, mulling it over. Call Mark back and set up an interview. Media attention is just a distraction. I'd rather continue to take her to the park and pretend this never happened. I must protect Madison from the media. Madison must stay at my apartment from now on. Right, we do in theory need money and access to our the 3D printers and the lathes to do the things that we want to do. Even if Madison already exists and, you know, we created everything for her, what if we want to do something more? How can we afford upgrades? Teach Madison to dance and live off that YouTube money? Alright, option 1 wins. Call Mark back, set up an interview. Mark, hi, it's Rico. I think I have a story for you. We head on to Chapter 3, The Camera Eye. Still at 81% humanity, we have no fame and we're broke. Empathy and grace are stable. Autonomy's in beta, the military's in buggy. We don't have a good relationship with Professor Ziegler. Basically telling him to get fucked. Probably did not, We told our advisor to go fuck himself. And, yeah. That's how that went. We've got a good relationship with Ellie and Josh. That went up a bit after the first chapter. And Mark here is on the board. We can probably build a relationship, a rapport with Mark. Chapter 2. The next day you hooked up Madison Rio's biodiesel engine and demoed for Ellie. You then spent the afternoon trying to teach science to a bunch of kids with Ellie. As months passed, you became busy teaching her about the world through high school textbooks and taking her to the park. One day, however, Professor Ziegler claimed that Madison Rio was not appealing enough to the military and demanded you changed her. You refused, but had not given the professor too much trouble previously, so he kept you on as a student. In time, Mark Ali, a reporter for the San Fran Chronicle, I need to stab myself in the eye for calling it San Fran, my apologies, heard about Madison Rio and asked for an interview. You agreed. A few days later, you're sitting in a dive bar. In a dive. What the hell am I? What the fuck am I doing with these words and with my accents? I really am clumsy with communication today. What the hell? I'm not hyped up on sugar or anything. I've had, like, my chicken tortilla soup, which I made yesterday, which is still very delicious. I had a glass of milk, and I had a few sweet and tangy barbecue chips. That's it. I'm drinking some water right now. You're not on the fucking sugar high. What is with your words? What's going on here? Los Angeles. Oh, shit. Sitting at a dive bar, San Francisco's Mission District, with Mark, a somewhat scruffy young reporter in a leather jacket. Mark has Mediterranean features, wavy black hair, and ample beard stubble. He takes a deep pull on one of those artificial cigarettes that delivers all the nicotine with none of the illegal smoke, and opens up a cheap Chromebook that looks about 10 years old and starts typing furiously. That's right, Train. Furious typing. The place smells of smoke that never quite came out of the retro upholstered furniture. It's the afternoon, so the place is mostly empty except for some dedicated drunks and you two. Thanks for coming, Mark says, even as he's typing something different about the atmosphere in the bar. You'd be surprised how many people insist on just answering via email. You know, you could just, like, record the interview instead of type. People do that on occasion with interviews. I know it's... And then, like, write stuff down later? Well, what the hell do I know? Journalism is dead anyway, right, folks? That's not true, but the newspapers sure are. You'd be surprised how many people insist on just answering via email, but that's bullshit reporting. It's like trying to sell the public a car you've only seen in a picture. To find the truth, you've got to kick the tires. You've got to look them in the eye. He looks you in the eye. Like right now, I can basically tell you're a nice gal. You try to do right by people. Haven't had to stick anybody in the guts to get what you want. He hesitates. As a compliment. My amazing. Thanks. The bartender, a tattooed and thoroughly pierced young woman with the build of a roller derby player, approaches Mark. PBR, Mark says lightly as if it's just a reminder. The bartender then looks at you expectantly. Alright, chat, what kind of fucking drink do you want? What?
I know what you're trying to do. It won't work.
It won't work. You folks gonna have a PBR as well? Or got anything like chocolate coffee porters? Or the Miller High Life? Guinness for strength? Or just water? It's like in Slan when we went into the bar and insisted on juice, no matter how often the game tried to tempt us. Got any, like, chocolate coffee porters? Like, oh my god, like, here we are in this bar, and, like, you're gonna give me an interview for the San Francisco Chronicle, and it's gonna be about my super amazing, like, incredibly empathic, like, robot with the Inspector Gadget arms, which are super cool and make her, like, really graceful and stuff, and, like, the face with the mask that isn't really, like, communicative of emotion, but it looks so pretty, like, seriously, look at the filigree design, and so awesome. I'm gonna stab myself in the face now. Option 5. Just drinking water. Glass of biodiesel. The bartender gives Mark an accusatory frown. Just let us sit here. You know I'll have 2 drinks. Of PBR, she mutters, but goes to fetch Mark's beer. The bartender leaves to fill your order. What's your initial impression of Mark? What the fuck is option 3? Chan? I don't think this guy and I are going to get along. Seems like an interesting guy. I think we'll get along okay. Kind of mysterious, kind of cute. I wonder if it's against his professional ethics to go on a date with me. Like, he looks kind of, like, mysterious. Like, he's so rugged, though. Like, he's so, like, anti-disestablishmentarian, and it's really, like, kind of attractive. Like, look at all his beard stubble. He looks smoky. I mean, like, he's actually is smoking, but I really mean, like, smoky. Like, he's got that Mediterranean look. He's got, like, swarthy skin. I mean, like, an olive, like, look more than swarthy. You know. It's really great. I love Red Balls. Oh, shit. Alright. Chat fairly divided among the 3 options. But, don't think that this guy and I are gonna get along. Wouldn't want to offend the reporter, though, folks. That could help you secure fame and funding. But, we're not off to a great start here, it doesn't look like. So be it. I don't think this guy and I are gonna get along. He seems to notice you're judging him, and you get the sense he's judging you right back. So I've heard your robot is kind of like a robotic 4-year-old, only it has arms that spring out of it like some strange mechanical octopus, and it has this weird beauty to it that makes people feel like they're in the presence of something from another world. Mark gives you a skeptical look to tell you what he thinks of this. I guess I ought to show you my robot sometime. Yeah. The bartender comes back with your water, Mark's PBR. Sip your water. Feeling a little out of place. So let's get to the most interesting of the rumors. Does this robot have human-level intelligence? The way Mark studies your expression suggests that your answer will say as much about you as it will about Madison Rio. Oh my god, option 3. It's great. Okay, how are we going to answer Mark here? What's our relationship like with him already? Alright, yeah, we're starting off on a bad foot. After what we said, or how we judged him. You should see Madison Rio while she is learning from high school textbooks, and it's only a matter of time before she surpasses us. Yes, Madison Rio is absolutely equal to any human. Intelligence is a concept designed by elites to denigrate the lower classes. Madison Rio is what she is. No, she's still got a lot to learn. Madison Rio's mind is a pale imitation of human intelligence, which most people underestimate. I mean, considering that, Rico's impression of this man is that he's one for fighting authority and fuck the system, but then again, Rico, our protag here may not be the best at reading people. Despite how charismatic we were to get children in an elementary school to do something, that doesn't mean we're really good at reading people. Let's throw that out there. Alright, looks like option 3 is going to carry the day. So it shall. Mark raises his eyebrows at this. Interesting. I've been doing this tech beat for a while, and you're the first AI person to say anything like that. He seems impressed. It's true. Read Stephen Jay Gould's Mismeasure of Man. The earlier proponents of IQ were totally racist, and as an AI person I can tell you there's no such thing as intelligence. Raw computational speed exists, sure, but what we call intelligence is actually a diverse set of skills that are coded in Madison Rio completely differently, most of which require special knowledge rather than pure speed of thought. Mark nods at this appreciatively. I can see that. A lot of writers might appreciate that sentiment, seeing how everyone's falling over computer scientists as geniuses these days. You shake your head. It's just a learned skill. Mark nods again as he records your comments. Let's talk about your advisor then. Professor Ziegler is famous for his pronouncements that in the near future we'll have robots smarter than humans. What role did he play in creating this robot of yours? Oh boy, what are we gonna say to the news, everyone? What are we gonna say to Mark here? He had nothing to do with all besides providing the funding. He demanded the robot appear more useful to the military without contributing significantly to its intelligence. He provided some suggestions during the robot's construction. I was greatly inspired by his thinking. I was listening to him speak on NPR as the robot was being built, in fact. Alright, chat. How we gonna... How's this gonna go? Oh boy. It'll be great. If you're just joining us, as a reminder, we did all right in building a rapport with Professor Ziegler in the first session. He's our advisor and also like oversees get the funding for the lathes and the 3D printers that made the robots. And make these robots like the one we made. But really looks to appeal to the military for that, military money, and basically told our advisor to get fucked. Our relationship with him right now is not good. And Mark here is really, really against, the idea of the Orwellian and the imperialists, building these robots to be, defense devices and offensive machines. And does not have a great view of, our advisor. Yes, do we need him? We're a TA, looking for a PhD. Option 2, though, looks like it's carrying the day. He demanded that the robot appear more useful to the military without contributing significantly to its intelligence. You say, appear. You don't think the changes he suggested were useful? No, they tended to be very superficial. He only intervened once I was building her physical form. By that time, I'd already designed the algorithms for learning. He had nothing to do with anything essential in Madison Rio's mind and personality. Interesting. And why did he push you in the direction of military applications? I think it was just to secure funding. He didn't seem to care whether we delivered something that would actually see use on the battlefield or not. He just wanted to make sure we could sell it. So, who is currently funding this work? DARPA is funding us. You say. When you see Mark's expression darken, you hastily add, but they fund a lot of basic science. Most of the science in this country is funded by the Department of Defense, one way or another. What exactly do you think it will be used for? Mark asks. That's not really my responsibility. She'll probably be used by the military. That doesn't necessarily mean she'll be used in combat. I'm hoping she will have purely defensive applications. Defending the nation from our enemies. Don't worry, scientists just frame what they would work on anyway as having military applications for DARPA. It's not actually going to see battlefield use. Don't worry, it's just a shell game that people play. Mark's like, alright, writes this down to like put in the put in the piece later. Professor Ziegler's had like the most iconic appearance. Like I know how that guy looks. I've seen that guy. I know that. Aviators, fucking like tropic, like a florid shirt, chomping on like a cigar, like languidly like laying like in a fucking like chair out in the patio somewhere. Option 4. Decisive victory. El Presidente. So you actually see yourself as kind of Robin Hood, stealing from DARPA to give to basic research? Mark asks. Judging from his grin, he seems to like the idea. Yes, I suppose you could say that. But that suggests you understand the ultimate impact of your work better than DARPA. How certain are you that they aren't taking advantage of your belief that your work is harmless, while it actually serves their purposes? You hesitate. Reasonably certain? You say, though you are not. Mark asks a few more questions about Madison Rio, getting a sense of what she's good at and not so good at. He appreciates the effort you've put into trying to make Madison Rio get along with people, while clearly expressing doubt that she would really understand humans. Last question. Will you allow us to send a photographer to take pictures of your robot? Oh boy. It's, that first option. It's gonna be great. It's a good thing we've given her a foundation of curriculum rather than randomly crawling through the internet. Chad did say they didn't think they'd get along with this person, but that doesn't mean that he can't be useful, right? You gotta understand how to manipulate the people around you, right, Madison? I mean, That's right. There was only like 2 percentage points. And we were working on, like, how he feels, subtly directing him. The real reason we don't spend time with people is that we find them too false, that we see their intentions plainly written upon their faces, and we are just so far beyond them. Alright, option 1 wins. Really? I know a lot of roboticists wouldn't allow such a thing because their robots only work in very controlled environments. That's why I want you to meet Madison. She's different. Mark nods. I guess she is. We'll be in touch. Our relationship's great now. Our, relationship with our professor is not so good anymore. A few days later, Mark comes to your apartment with a photographer, a young blonde woman with a slight southern drawl. All right now. Yes, it's almost just exactly like Slammed, isn't it? Y'all remember Velma? Oh, she did so great as our partner. She asks Madison to sit on your workbench, then asks you to look as if you're busy fixing something on her person. Madison and you both comply. Smile, she says. You do. Once the photos are taken, Mark tries his hand at interviewing Madison Rio. He looks cautious and slightly guilty, as if the journalism police were going to pop out from your closet and take away his license. He places his Chrome book on your workbench and interviews her, who examines the tools in your toolbox, gracefully turning each tool over in her hands. So, what's it like being a robot? Madison Rio appears stumped by the question. Mark tries again. How is it different from being a human? It's hard to reach things on high shelves, she ventures. What kinds of things make you happy? High school textbooks, excelling at feats of physical dexterity, the presence of Rico. Madison cocks her masked head to the side. There is a significant gap between those and the next most highly ranked answers, but I could go on. Alright, so, we've seen the pecking order here in our robot's mind. That's alright. Mark continues his questions. You get the feeling that overall Mark is going to write a positive piece about Madison. His questions tend to be friendly, as if you were interviewing a celebrity. You feel reasonably comfortable allowing Madison to finish the interview, and the photographer takes several more pictures of Mark talking to Madison. By the end of the interview, Madison seems to be enjoying her interaction with Mark. You spend the next 2 weeks searching news feeds for your name and wondering every day when Mark's article is going to come out. You're awoken on Friday, March 13th by a klaxon. A script you wrote on your laptop has detected Mark's article on the internet. You blearily sit up in bed and stop your laptop's alarm. It's about 5 in the morning. Madison walks to your bedroom to see what's the matter, but you assure her that everything's fine, so she goes back to practicing her Tai Chi. The article is one of the lead stories in the technology section of the San Francisco Chronicle's website. Exploring the world through a robot child's eyes is the headline. The article tells the story of how you managed to create Madison Rio with hardly any help from Professor Ziegler. Now you have a close, almost parental bond with Madison Rio. The article emphasizes Madison's uncanny gracefulness, comparing Madison's delicate movements to those of a dancer. With selective use of quotes from your interview, the article portrays you as a little vacant and suggests that you have sacrificed some of your humanity for your robots. The article concludes with a quote from Ellie. Rico is just a dreamer, albeit one who is very good at making her dreams come true. Fame! I like that. Little vacant. Might not be spending too much time around people. Celebrity. Mark wrote a positive article about you. We're a local celebrity, everyone. We did it. Empathy is good. Grace is stable. So, what are we gonna do now? Are we gonna show Madison the article, call Mark, thank him for the article, and see what he's up to? Or share the article with friends and family? Option 3 is not one that our character would pursue based on how you folks have designed the character. Doesn't mean you can't change your minds, but... Lord knows. It's like we're going to show Madison the article. Who knows? She's probably already read it at this point. She may have, anyway. Well, Matt, how you folks enjoying Choice of Robots thus far? Unplugged. Option 1 wins decisively. That's true. We did not. Madison! Madison walks back into your room and you show her the article. It is about me, she says, cocking your head to one side. It is. Or yes. Madison keeps reading. But I already knew all of this. I suppose you would, you say. Uninterested in her newfound fame, Madison goes back to practicing her Tai Chi. You briefly check the internet for more posts about the article. You find that the story has been picked up within the first hour by a multitude of bloggers, all striving to be the first to comment on the article. You'd guess there are at least 40 different bloggers who have already written a secondhand piece about you medicine. They run the gamut from people hoping that your technology will save humanity to people who bitterly condemn you for creating technology that could be used for war. Oddly, not one of these bloggers has tried to get in touch with you. Ellie is calling via video chat on your phone. You pick up. Hey, she says. She looks like she is at work. She's dressed in a snappy black jag with a red blouse, and in the background you can see blueprints and sketches of robots drawn in spare, efficient lines. You didn't realize she worked for a robot company. That definitely seems like us so fucking out of touch. Congratulations on the article. You must be really proud. Alright, Chad. Here we go. You like slammed more so far. Honestly, I could use a break from all this attention. What are you up to tonight? Did you talk to Mark? And if you did, what did you say exactly? Thanks, I am pretty proud. I'll talk to you later. She fucking calls. Like, yeah, okay, cool, bye-bye. But I mean, if she works for a robot company and she does robot stuff, maybe she can do stuff for medicine. Think of the usefulness of people before you discard them, right? Yes, Crazy, that's... Extract. We will have her gene seed for the chapter. Okay, option 1 it is. I've already got plans with some people for from work tonight. How about Saturday? We could go to the jazz concert in the park. Alright, Chad, we're not making it. I'm not doing this. Jazz concert sounds great. See you then! Until then, enjoy all the attention. The screen goes dark. You're getting a phone call. According to the caller ID, it's Mom. As your finger hesitates over the answer button, a second call appears on your screen. A number in Glendale, California. Probably a reporter? Oh, that third option. That's beautiful. Second time Ellie has invited us to jazz. Folks wanted to hang out with her, so that's what we're gonna do on Saturday. So distant from humanity that, can't even have a conversation. But again, we don't know our relationship with her mom, right? Who knows? She's probably, baby, I'm so proud of you, or baby, you're fucking wasting your time. We have no clue. Option 2, though, is winning, so that's the end of that. Your phone shows Mom in her office cubicle, which is decorated with baby pictures of you and cute cat memes from the early days of the internet that she has printed out. Mom is wearing a corduroy, lime green jag with 80s-style padded shoulders. Her image freezes constantly. You think she hasn't paid for enough bandwidth for this to work well. Just thought I'd offer my congratulations. I saw the article. My little gal is famous. The Glendale number is calling again. What the fuck, Glendale number? We'll get back to you. Assholes. We're streamlining this vote process. We did not pick up for you. We're talking to Mom. You know, you should probably spring for more bandwidth on your phone. You're really choppy. We did make the mention of getting a new phone. What? I can't hear you. This connection is really choppy. You continue to chat with Mom. I like how people are voting, even though there's no poll. She says Dad hasn't been feeling well lately. He keeps having migraines that sometimes call him to pass out or hallucinate. She asks you not to bring it up, though. He told me not to tell you because he didn't want to worry you. But maybe you could just keep him in your thoughts? I will, Mom. You end the call feeling good about having chosen to talk to your mom over a random stranger. Worried by what Mom said about Dad, you briefly call him as well. He's audio only since he never saw the point of getting a phone with a video feed. As usual, he doesn't quite seem to get why you would call someone without a goal to accomplish. Yep, that sounds like him. He's pretty terse unless you get him going about a technical subject. What's on your mind? Well, chat, we're pretty motivated. Yeah, I can see which one we took after. Pretty terse unless you get going about a technical subject? Yup. That's right. You know, our character really just doesn't seem like the fucking person who would pick up, like, from a random, like, caller ID from somewhere. Like, I get calls from random numbers. I'll let that shit go to voicemail. I know, people use voicemail in 2019. What a time to be alive. That's right, give him the opportunity to discuss it if he wants. Alright, option 3. Of course, Dad then rattles off a variety of practical knowledge about how to keep Madison Rio's joints limber. That's Dad for you. Assuming the purpose of the conversation has been accomplished, he says goodbye. But you're glad you called him too. I like that. Alright, good interaction. Enjoy it. Goodbye. Your next phone call is from Josh. He must be using a new video phone because his image is crisp and poppin' with color. Well, insofar as a dark warehouse and his gray hoodie can pop with color. Hey, Rico, I just saw the article. Congratulations. It looks like you're finally getting the attention you deserve. Thanks. You want to go in to celebrate in the city tomorrow night? There's a really good Led Zeppelin cover band playing. This would conflict with your plan to go to the jazz concert with Ellie. Really good Led Zeppelin cover band. This is our first, like, interaction with Josh that we've experienced so far in this story. We've had other opportunities to interact with him. Crazy, like, why would it be separate? Why can't the jazz concert and the Led Zeppelin cover band be the same thing? I don't understand. Jazz Zeppelin. You just like blend like different genres of music. Like that electro swing. That sounds terrible, Galaxy dude. Option 2. Okay, no problem. He hangs up. You realize that you haven't checked your email at all today. Checking it for the first time, you find it is flooded with requests for interviews. But one email in particular catches your attention because of the author's unusual email address. From Robot Obsession 1987. Amazing! I read the article. You sound like a genius. Would you be interested in getting coffee sometime? I've been interested in robots for as long as I've lived, and I would love to meet you in Madison Rio. Sincerely, Silas. Chad, do you meet people who ask for meetings with you over email? Me? You know, there's people who've wanted to meet me who've asked me over email. I've politely declined. But some people don't take no for an answer, right? It's okay, everyone. Remember, Madison has a beautiful hard disk that prevents reverse engineering. Wouldn't it be awful if, like, one of the ways this game goes that someone fucking, like, alters your robots that she fucking, like, murders you? No! My creation! That's never happened before to scientists. That their creation kills them. Oh, that's fucking tragic. Anyway, option 3 wins. You write back a polite email in which you explain that you barely have time for friends you already know, and the additional media attention has left you swamped. You click send and hope that's the last of that. You check the time on your phone. You should probably get something to eat before your meeting with Professor Ziegler. Madison, I have to go meet the professor. Stay here. Madison is studying a YouTube clip of a ballerina on your big screen TV as you head out the door. You can see her just starting to try to balance on one foot as you leave. Alright, this is gonna be great. Meeting with our advisor. It's gonna be fucking great. It's gonna be great. Hey, our attitude with him went up a little bit. It was in the teens there. Our humanity's also gone up. 2020, we're 25-year-old Rico. You make your way across campus to the computer science building. A newly constructed tower glass. Can someone fill you in real quick? Well, there is a summary of completed chapters. You want to take like a quick screenshot of that or even pause the stream and take a look at what happened. Currently in the middle of chapter 3. An article has been written about us in a positive light. Leave this here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving on. Make your way across campus to the computer science building. A newly constructed tower of glass amidst the stucco and shingle mission architecture of the rest of the school. The professor's office smells like cigar smoke and is decorated with posters advertising robot conferences with acronyms for names and years before you were born. The professor himself is sitting back in a swivel chair at an angle that makes the fluorescent lights reflect off his glasses, so you can't read his expression. There are 2 simple wooden chairs in front of his desk, both empty. The professor bids you sit with a wave of his hand, and you do. But before we go further, let's get some unpleasant business out of the way. He leans forward. You did an extremely foolish thing in speaking to the media directly, without speaking to me first. And you were still more foolish to speak ill of me. I'm sorry, you had your chance to help, but Medicine Rio is entirely my doing. I simply told the truth about that, but at least it turned out for the best, right? This is good press? 3 has 2 questions. You fool, this is fucking with my funding! Why we show him... That's right, remember. Whenever you're cradled in someone's arms, flailing around in a closet, that moment right there, that feeling, is weakness. That's what we taught Madison. Right? This is good press, right? Yeah, attention, right? This is fine, right? Totally fine. He's only our advisor who's taken us on, and, you know, we have access to these things, likely through, like, he could probably freeze us out of this stuff if he wanted, and, probably take back the fucking robot. Because it's not like we paid for it. It's not like it's really ours, right? It's something that's going to be given to the military, right? Just because we created Madison doesn't mean that Madison... Yeah. Alright. Option 3 narrowly wins over option 2. Professor Ziegler shrugs. In a sense, yes. But you have to be careful even with good media coverage, lest your colleagues become jealous and try to tear you down. But I suppose I did not give you enough credit before. Madison sounds like a very impressive robot. I should like to see it sometime. Thank you, sir. You suppose this is about as good as you're going to get out of him. At any rate, you now have placed me in an awkward position. Clearly can't continue to be my student. The press will assume I am getting my ideas from you, and other fame-seeking graduate students will try to emulate your insubordination. He hesitates, and you wonder what is coming next. I regret to inform you that you will no longer working in this lab. You're momentarily stunned. I no longer want you as my student. I'm letting you go. But how could you not want credit for Madison Rio? She's famous now. Professor Ziegler suddenly stands his hands across the desk. Do you think I crave the kind of attention you bring? You care everything for your own reputation, and nothing for mine. My next advisor, you will have no next advisor. Do you think I will write you a letter of recommendation after all this? You hesitate because you realize you aren't simply losing advisor. You're being kicked out of grad school. You leave without another word. What will you do this evening? Alright, I tried to make a poll, and... Chat, stop giving fucking votes. And it's not... Alright. Let me refresh you. I'm trying to make a poll, and... there we go. Well, we've been kicked out of grad school, but at least I guess we get to keep the robot? The professor did say he'd be interested in meeting Madison Rio sometime. That quip was probably, like, he's probably gonna say that regardless of, like your relationship with him by picking that choice. But we really don't have a good relationship with him, so, you know. Oh, you'll get the meter all right. Alright. There's a tie there, the challenger broke. An echo code squeaked in something. I would have cast a vote for 2 anyway. We're going to improve Madison Rio's self-defense in case someone tries to attack her. You spend the evening teaching Madison about the places on the body where someone might be incapacitated with a quick blow. The back of the neck, the eyes, the nose, and the back of the leg. Had it been another day, you might have emphasized the importance of not using violence unless strictly necessary. But in your exhaustion, you find yourself explaining that the human body is no more than a machine. The next morning, as you are leaving your apartment, you encounter a very overweight man with a scraggly black beard, who appears to be peering up at your apartment window through military-grade binoculars. I like birdwatching myself. It is for the best that Madison learns how to protect herself, you know, just in case. The human body is but a machine. It has weak points like any machine. And we need that ley wood to be able to exploit those weaknesses when the time is right and the stars align. Initiate Plan Omega. I can show off the stats after this poll, Gisk. That way I'm not flipping away from the options. Poll is fairly divided, but is leaning towards Robot Obsession 1987, I presume. Yeah, you gotta wait for that pop-up text from Poll Mate Bot to appear. If the interface doesn't show up there, then like the vote like then your vote really doesn't register. Option 2 wins. Before we do that, obviously still local celebrity, autonomy stable, military still in beta but no longer buggy, empathy is good, grace is stable. relationship with the professor is, it improved marginally after we, you know, wasn't the worst of turns, but it's still a bad relationship. We have an alright relationship with Ellie. Silas here is on the tracker. At the sound of your voice, the man lowers the binoculars to face you, yelps, then runs to an old yellow BMW parked outside of your apartment complex. You quickly snap a picture with your phone as the man starts the car, and as he speeds away, you have your phone perform a face recognition search. Silas Cooper, San Jose, California is the first hit. Well, alright then, that would be the person who sent you that off-kilter email. You hope nothing more comes of it. That afternoon, you glance outside your window and see Silas skulking behind a hedge across the street, as if he's casing your place. He catches sight of you, pretends to pick up something from the ground, and puts his hands in his pockets and whistles as he casually walks to his BMW, starts up the engine, and drives away. The price of fame, everyone. That night, you go to the jazz concert in the park with Ellie. You can tell she's enjoying the upbeat, brassy music. She bounces along with the beat and smiles. They're plotting a lively big band piece. Ellie says with a grin, "So I hear you're a big deal now." "Yeah. You're probably pretty busy then. Why'd you choose to hang out with little old me tonight?" Oh my goodness, Chad. Here we go. You can absolutely fail to properly connect with humanity again. I will even throw in a vote. Because you're good at reminding me to stop and appreciate what's important. Madison Rio still looks a little awkward. Do you think you'd give me some tips for a new body? Gotta learn how to ingratiate yourself with people before asking for them favors. Ingratiate? What is that? That is like a waste of time. And breath. And energy. What is this? Ingratiate. Alright. Option 1. Thanks, Ellie says with a little surprised grin. That's actually a very nice thing to say. You enjoy the rest of the evening with Ellie immensely, singing along the jazz standards you know. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. When you get back, you find Madison is gone. A note from Robot Obsession 1987 says, "See ya, bitches!" The next day, you get a call from your mother. Oddly, she chooses not to use video at all. "Rico, I have some bad news for you." And there is a heaviness in her voice that you've never heard before that fills you with dread. You are completely unprepared for what comes next. Your father passed away last night. Your father's funeral is a simple graveside affair, with just a few attendees. The casket is sitting on a metal gurney next to the hole into which it will eventually be lowered, after everyone is gone. There are no trappings of any faith, since your father was not religious himself. Nor did he have many close friends, but the ones you know came. You find yourself sitting in the front row next to Madison Rio, who was not explicitly invited, but was not explicitly prohibited either. Madison seems overwhelmed by the sadness in the air. You have never seen her so glum. Your mother, wearing a black dress and veil, goes up the stand next to the casket. "It's not often that my English degree comes in handy, as Bill would have been quick to point out," she says with a wry smile. "But on a few occasions I find none of my own words seem sufficient. So I'd like to begin with a favorite passage of ours." And now's the point where Chad gets to choose, like, the favorite passage that that your mom and dad had. So, get to that. I don't really have anything else to say for this screen. Looks like option 2 is carrying the day. That's right, a quote from Jonathan Bear. To everything there is a season, a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to give birth and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. Mom clears her throat. Bill was never one for religion, so I feel a little guilty quoting Ecclesiastes over him. But I'd like to think you would agree with the sentiment, that this too is the natural way of things. When we talked about his fainting spells, and then strokes, he always seemed relatively calm about it. But it's time to go, he said. Meanwhile, I don't want everyone to worry about me. Bill wanted you to take advantage of your time to laugh. You could mourn him later. And now that he is gone, and it's right for us to be sad, it's also right for us to one day laugh again. You glance at Madison Rio, who seems very interested in this idea that there is a time and place for everything, plus to grace and empathy. You sit through a few more of your father's friends giving recollections of him. He was brilliant, they say, but you also get the feeling he was not always there for his friends, that he was lost in his own world.
Doesn't sound like anyone we know, does it?
They never say he was kind or that he was full of love. Indeed, he always seemed distant to you as well. After the service, you walk up to your father's casket and place your hand on it. What have you resolved to do in light of his death? We've made a resolution? Is this like going to be like a New Year's resolution? Okay, so 4 choices here. Seems poignant and important, at least for our character's development, so give some thought about it, I guess. I must work on technology that is better able to remove tumors like the one Dad had. I must not be remembered only for my intellect, but for my kindness as well. I must find out more about why Dad died and whether I'm genetically at risk. Moved by from the quote, I decide I must remember to experience everything life has to offer. We become one with the ecclesiarchy. We made mention, like, when in conversation with Madison, like, one time about, like, how we wanted to experience life. That seems, like, fitting. If that ends up being what the viewers go with. That's right, Rilder. What does a robot rising have to offer? This is like Shant's desire to explore all of the poor choices, right? Alright, option 4 carries the day here. We will pursue that. You have concentrated too hard on robots at the expense of the rest of life, you decide. To everything there is a season. There is a time for robots and a time for other things. You decide you will pay more attention to the world around you. Remember to check the stats screen for changes to humanity and relationship stats, which are not reported in the text. After that sobering experience, you realize that it's finally time to decide what to do with yourself now. What have you decided to do for a living? Humanity 87% now. Relationships are more vibrant than what they were. A little bit. Reclaiming our humanity after Dad's death. A time for robots and a time for other things. We didn't give up on robots. We're achieving balance. So, chat, what are we gonna do for a living? Are we gonna join Josh's company, which is apparently US Robots? We're going to start our own company, or forget this bourgeois crap. I'm going to go live broke but free. Starting our own company sounds great. We got some fame. We just need to get some investors. Oh, there was that, damn, I can't even remember the name of the company, or, well, the company, or the person. The young woman who, had, like, this blood testing kit that wasn't actually capable of anything she suggested that was. She had an affectation of a deep voice, and, she, got so much funding. That whole sham. I can't believe I've already forgotten, like, the name of that thing. Damn it. Someone doesn't tell me, I'm gonna have to look it up. It's fucking bothering me. Yes! Yes! There we go. Thank you. Oh, man. It's like I could see her. The fucking documentary and everything. I fucking see her and hear her, like, the voice, but I couldn't fucking think of her name. Or the name of the company. Man. Details like that. Anyway. Option 2 wins. I will start my own company. What will you call your company? Oh, shit. Alright, we're not gonna make up a name. First 4 options. No name creation. Singularity, though, sounds like an absolute, like, crotch chop fuck you to... Like, I could see it being, like, like, in tribute of his idea, like, what the singularity is, but since we have such a bad relationship, it doesn't seem like a tribute at all. Madison Rio works, actually, doesn't sound too bad. It rolls off the tongue well enough. But Rico Tech is obviously the best. It's okay, we'll hire Silas. It's fine. Totally fine. Option 1, getting some love there at the end, but, we're rolling with option 2. Powerfully, convincingly so. You have decided the surest way to change the world is with your own company. And indeed, Rico Tech will have far-reaching impact. Starting with Josh, who texts you a short message the day you're first covered in the Wall Street Journal. Welcome to the Shark Tank. So, I mean, you could have gotten some money if we went to work at, Josh's company, US Robots, and... But, we have chosen the route of even more fame. We're still a local celebrity. A year later, and you find yourself on a flight to your first meeting with a big client. You're 26 years old, and the year is 2021. The past year has been one of hard lessons for your business, and you've often found yourself wondering if you would have made the same mistakes if you had learned to run a business from Josh. I mean, our character has been very, not wanting to interact with people, very abrasive, kind of like Dad, huh? And, over the past years, kind of had to, like, pick up these skills. Regardless, you hope to prove to yourself that you're overcoming your lack of experience by landing this big deal. Who is your big client? Okay, so, our various clients include, and I'll make a poll, Spark Incorporated, a maker of flying cars, Rudolph Ventures, a shipping company working the newly melted North Pole, Galen Medical, a company specializing in surgical equipment, which, I mean, our graceful, dexterous robot sounds like it'd be pretty useful on. A man in Shanghai who wants to negotiate the import of 10,000 robots, or the United States Air Force. This will probably be the final chapter that we embark upon this broadcast. My throat isn't doing awfully, but these chapters can go a bit. I'll see how I feel when we get to, like, the end of the chapter, but I predict that this will be the final chapter that we do for the broadcast. Okay, option 3 is winning. So be it. I kind of sound like Elizabeth Holmes. Awesome. That's everything I've strived to achieve in my life. All I need to do is begin to delude and trick people, and, claim I'm capable of doing things and have things that I don't actually have. And so long as I can get one person to back me, everyone else will follow. Isn't that right, chucklefucks? That's corporate Grimith right there for you. How did you, How did you fund your company? Some small companies are run entirely out of pocket, but even small, unforeseen expenses can cause such a company to go out of business. Independently wealthy entrepreneurs like this option because they get to keep all the profit and grow still wealthier. But most companies choose to either take out loans, which requires paying the loans back eventually, or selling shares in the company to venture capitalist backers, which reduces the potential profit but spreads the risk amongst your investors. This is our first grayed out option we've seen thus far in the game. We do not have any wealth. And so we are not capable of paying for this out of pocket. As such, this is a binary choice. This is also going to be the first one of the broadcast where people are like, I voted for this option, but no, I actually meant this option. Of course, binary choice. 1, 2. Still get a big loan? The loan sharks, welcome to the Shark Tank, or sell shares to it, make it a public company. Work on trying to buy back those shares later. Looks like instead of a loan, we're giving people a stake in the company. In Rico Tech. Have like a board of directors and everything, will be forced out. That's right, crazy. Autonomies have to answer to people. Knows. Having a plurality isn't good enough if everyone else can combine for a majority. Knows. That's right, the autonomy is gone forever. Option 2 wins. Finance the company by selling shares in it. You were oh my god, yes! You were astounded when the initial investment money rolled in. Suddenly it seemed like you were worth millions. Your status as a local celebrity in Silicon Valley helped you find angel investors without much trouble. Hello, money, because we're so famous. We're so damn famous that when we ask for money, people are like, fuck yeah, give us money. All the money just showers upon everyone forever. Selling shares in the company reduced your potential future earnings since your shareholders would be entitled to more of the company's value and profits, but also gave you much more breathing room when trying to grow the company. You open your laptop and go over your presentation slides. The diagram shows the latest model of Madison. Doesn't have anything to give the audience a sense of her current scale. To give the audience a sense of size, you drop in a picture of... Alright, so once upon a time we first created her, Madison Rio was 3 feet tall. How's she looking these days? She's still a hobbit? Is she the size of a human now, so that models of her type are better equipped to perform human tasks? Or a Rancor monster so big she couldn't fit on a plane? I know, like, Rancor class Madison Rio. Madison Rancor, as we've taken to call her. It just doesn't seem appropriate for where the chats wanted to take her thus far, but, people are always capable of changing their minds. New folks come in, folks leave, the project design changes, and, the next time we broadcast this, there can always be, like, a new sense of direction for where we go. Okay, option 2. Convincing victory. You celebrated Madison Rio's first birthday with a new body the size of a human adult. Madison Rio has since appeared to take more responsibility to think for herself and appears more fearless. However, you sometimes miss how cute she was, the little thing. She's also a little bit less steady when she walks. Stupid body with only 2 legs. So much autonomy. Shoring it up. We really are making her well-rounded, aren't we? You find yourself in the lobby of Galen Medical, waiting for an audience with the Vice President of Engineering. The stylized, oh my god, that word, caduceus, behind the lobby's marble waterfall has an Art Deco look to it. It's the sort of caduceus a captain of industry would approve of. Just really want to use that word, huh? Madison Rio walks back and forth nervously. Sorry again about having to check you, Madison, you say. There's just no good alternative to flying for business travel. If I truly were an explosive device, I fail to see how putting me with the luggage would rectify the situation, she grouses. The double doors of the Vice President of Engineering's office open, but instead of the Vice President of Engineering herself, it's a blonde-haired man in a black pea coat. We'll have some results for you by Saturday, he calls back into the VP's office. Oh my goodness. It's executive suite, everyone. Where's our keychain? We can discuss them after the barbecue. I assure you, you won't be disappointed by either results or the meat. Without missing a beat, he walks up to you and introduces himself. Dennis Clark, Luminoso LLC. We do text analytics and machine learning for medium-sized data. If you ever find yourself looking for new market opportunities, give me a ring. Your first sentiment analysis comes with a free barbecue. Come for the dimensionality reduction, stay for the delicious meat. He offers a smartphone to you in the buy now universal gesture for sharing digital business cards. Examine his card on your phone. Alright? Oh my goodness. You have so many questions, everyone. And I gotta know one thing. What is the secret to cooking delicious meat? It's Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, I know, but what does this guy think it is? This just honestly just seems like a better, like, conversational thing, like, instead of, like, these two. What the hell do I know? I'm not a successful entrepreneur. I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't entrepreneur anything. Option 3 wins. Strongly so. Dennis seems surprised that you should ask, but he says, delicious meat needs to be cooked very, very slowly. Barbecue it over the course of a day, not an hour. Like a startup, it requires patience. You are fairly certain this simple tip will lead you to have a happier life overall. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go call my wife and discuss how we're going to solve the world's economic problems. Or at least solve what's wrong with economics. Dennis departs. The VP of Engineering will see you now, the receptionist says. The VP of Engineering of Galen is an old woman who claims that PowerPoint is rotting the brains of executives everywhere, and Okay. Alright, time out. Alright, we need to have them all here. Real talk, chat. So, the year is 2021, right? In the game. And right now it's 2019. I know some of my viewers. High school stuff, college stuff. When is the last time you have used Microsoft PowerPoint? Or like an open office equivalent? When's the last time you've made a slideshow? Have you ever made a slideshow? Okay. Alright. There's still something very much in use for folks. And also, some folks haven't made use out of it. So it stands to reason that in 2021, despite all the technology, the flying cars and what have you, that PowerPoint can still very much be a thing. Probably back when this game was written. Well, that's a wonder. Let me check that real quick. Go into Steam. When was this story, like, pushed to Steam? December 19th, 2014. I had thought it had been 2014, 2015, thereabouts. Okay. And insists on reading something printed out. You hand her your business plan, and she dons her old horn-rimmed glasses to read it. When she gets to your revenue section, she chuckles a little. I will let you in on a little tip, because you are young and remind me of myself at your age, and because I am retiring in 2 weeks. Yes, we are going to turn around and sell these for 100 times what you are charging here, so you may as well charge us more. You're a little stunned as you work out the implications. You're going to charge $100 million a robot? And that's cheap. Medical equipment is expensive. If you've been selling robots for any less, you probably didn't get buyers because they thought it was junk and mentally added the price of a lawsuit. When she studies your stunned expression, she adds, oh, I could sit here and talk for hours about how the economics of this business is broken because of insurance and Medicare and so forth, but that's not really what you're here for. Is it? Will you raise your prices to what the Vice President of Engineering suggests? Hell yes! Let's be rich! Let's get Galen to agree to sell the robots to hospitals at a more affordable price. Wait, she said her price on the cheap side. Let's increase the price of her. I mean, chat's already looking at, like, the wealth we've got 5. But, you know, think of all of our beautiful angel investors, and I'm sure they would appreciate money. Who can say? I mean, the kind-hearted soul of me is, you know, number 2. The shrewdest of shekelism. Three is... You think 3 is being in the middle? Absolutely. We'd love that. May as well charge us more. Come on. Okay. Option 2 it is. I'm in this to change the world, not to maximize my profit. You say, I'd rather Galen agree to lower its prices. The Vice President of Engineering looks appreciative. I thought there wasn't anyone like you left in this industry. I can sign a contract like that, but there's too much risk to put cash up front. You negotiate to a price that will be fair to the public, on the condition that you will only see revenue once the bot starts selling. With a deal in hand, you can now build a robot factory. Where do you plan to build your factory? Oh my god, I'm reading ahead. If you were around for the start of the broadcast, you would have heard something about Alaska. Detroit, Michigan, I see a bunch of listings for factories dirt cheap, and they probably have a good labor pool for manufacturing. Shenzhen District, China, common location for tech company outsourcing with cheap but skilled labor. Silicon Factory, I'll withstand the real estate sticker shock to have access to the most skilled engineers. Alaska, which is offering incentives to businesses willing to relocate to the coast near the newly melted Arctic Sea. Business incentives. That's right. Business incentives. We do have the well for Silicon Valley, but it's not that far to travel from Alaska to Silicon Valley. We're well off. Just think of all the skilled labor we'll have access to, because everyone else is gonna, Well, we'll figure it out, I'm sure of it. Option 4 it is. You fly to Anchorage. You transfer, which is on the southern coast of Alaska, and head to Barrow, your final destination on the northern coast. The forests beneath you are flooded from rivers bringing extra snow melt from the mountains, a sign that the world is getting warmer. As your plane nears Barrow, forest and mountains give way to a white plain dotted with smoke-belching oil refineries. An Inuit man in a heavy blue windbreaker meets you at the airport to show you to the factory grounds. Remarkably, he gets you there with a dog team sled. You slide easily past the line of backup cars on the road. Don't think from the dog team that we're primitive. If you decide to hire here, you'll see we have people from families who've been electricians and mechanics since World War II. The roads just haven't caught up to the auto traffic. We believe in the right solution for the job. Sometimes nature provides that solution. I love it! With the biodiesel thing we've got for our robot, it's great. The factory itself is a few miles outside the city, still under construction by mostly Inuit workers. It's on the shore, and it looks like they're constructing a dock as well. You'll be able to receive oil materials directly from the dock. That should help get around the traffic at the Barrow docks, although foreign ships will still need to go through customs there. There should be a lot of oil and rare earth minerals coming from the pole. All that stuff that used to be under the ice, so you should get a good price for that stuff. Seeing no reason not to take the factory, you signed the fucking deal. So should I let the community know you'll be hiring soon? What kind of labor will you hire? So... that fourth option, In Ford we trust. Brave New World. So, Madison Rio's model or robot will perform all the labor, including supervision, robots with human supervisors, human labor at market rates, rather low in this economy. Following Henry Ford's model, I will hire human workers and pay them handsomely. So the guide's like, our people here are great. They have skills to pay the bills. They do wonderfully. And we're like, we're not really hiring. Looks like Chad is leaning towards robots with human supervisors. Okay. Damn it, Metal Slime Hunt, you weren't supposed to say anything. You're supposed to just let it sit there. You've broken everything. Alright, option 2 it is. A solid fight for options 1 and 4. Robots with human supervision. We'll need a few local workers, yes, mostly in supervisory roles. A factory like this still needs a large number of workers, even with automation, your guide tries to correct you. I disagree, you say, and your guide leaves dissatisfied.
But our pockets aren't. Look at this gold.
I've been broadcasting for 3 hours now. Though the story's been going for over 2.5. We're in chapter 4. We'll scroll down to a summary of the chapters. You want to take a pause or a screen cap to read through what we've done thus far. Chapter 1, then there's Chapter 2 there, and then Chapter 3, which we haven't read the summary for yet. You gave Mark an interview and allowed Mark to come back to your place to interview Madison Rio. Mark wrote an article that was generally positive about you and Madison Rio. When Professor Ziegler found out about the article, he was very displeased and finally kicked you out of his lab. Mark's article also attracted the attention of one Robot Obsession 1987, known in real life as Silas Cooper. Shortly thereafter, your father passed away. Moved by your mother's reading of the Ecclesiastes, you resolved to not get so wrapped up in robots that you let the rest of life pass you by. You decided the best way to change the world was to start a business which you named Rico Tech. Your factory requires a fair amount of work to make it suitable for Rico Tech, and you find yourself needing to come in daily to examine wiring issues, fix small problems in the design of the machinery, and get things ready to pass inspection. You find it necessary to rent a place in Alaska, and you stay there most nights. You find yourself spending long hours every day getting the factory ready. Dealing with inspectors, government officials, banks, and balance sheets makes you more than a little cranky. You find yourself wishing you had the benefit of Josh's experience as a CEO. What will your factory look like from a distance? Oh, jeez. Oh, that third option there. It's a pity we're not having the robots rule themselves, because it's gonna be a real damn shame when the robots overthrow their human supervisors. Like the Sydney Opera, fucking build like the Sydney Opera House and fucking. He put all of his wealth into appearances for the factory. That's how Mighty Microcomputer Corporation would want it. We might have to do Executive Suite again. I've thought about it now and then over the past several months. It's been a while since we've had an Executive Suite bit. I kind of miss Executive Suite. Maybe have like that be like, because we gotta go corporate Grimith here. That's like a Patreon tier, where I allow people in a special tier to come in onto the stream and play Executive Suite. Yes, yes, there's money to be made there. I'm sure of it. Yes. Anyway, we're building the fucking dome. Pretty sure the videos of Alter Ego are still there. Like, you can run like a YouTube search for Alter Ego for my channel. I don't see why I would have taken them down. What your robots need and crave is information. Now they will have it. Any robot inside the factory will be able to listen to any satellite transmission on this side of the Earth or any wireless signal for miles. Tons of autonomy. You're somewhat surprised at what gets transmitted unencrypted by nearby military bases. Maybe that will prove useful someday too. Some military. But having so much information at their fingertips will come at a price, as robots in your factory will also check their smartphones at inopportune moments, making them a little rude and absent-minded. Loss of grace and some empathy. Dun dun dun. We've evened out the scores, except for autonomy, which is now shot through the roof. It's now our highest. No, Dragon Chaos. I had not seen that at all. While your factory is being constructed, you personally review all the applications for technical positions. You notice that Silas, the somewhat unstable person who emailed you after Mark's article came out, has submitted a resume. Although his resume appears to have all the right technical buzzwords for making robots into the skills section, there are no activities at all listed under this last several places of employment. All federal labs are contractors. Perhaps it's explained by the clearance, TSSCI, in bold at the top of the page, which according to the internet stands for Top Secret, Secure, Compartmented Information. Will you hire him? This Silas guy that we didn't meet with after the email and kind of spied on us. Looks like chat's willing to see whether he can be useful. We Googled it, which, according to the internet, stands for this. Well, I mean... Does he not have a LinkedIn? I know, right? What the hell? Crazy nonsense. Listen, our character, until recently, has lived a very sheltered life of not wanting to interact with people at all. And we've really had to turn that around since we decided to run a fucking company. Option 1, it wins. Okay. You pay to fly Silas to Alaska. Seems very nervous when you greet him at the factory gate. You have no desk yet, so you conduct the interview walking around the facilities. Suppose I'm trying to place factories in such a way as to maximize my profit. That's a linear programming problem! Good. But suppose my cost function isn't linear. I don't know how to pronounce this word. I don't know what the fuck it means. I gotta look this up.
Stochastic.
Of, relating to, or characterized by conjecture. Conjectural. Statistics, involving or containing a random variable or variables.
Stochastic.
Calculus. Statistics, involving chance or probability. A
Stochastic.
simulation. No wonder why I don't know what this fucking word means. I hate statistics. Or gradient ascent. These are pretty good answers, albeit not the one you had in mind. I'll make the view reappear. Then again, you're pretty much just winging it when it comes to deciding what to ask. You really have little idea how an interview ought to be conducted, having never been in one yourself. You wonder if other people who conduct interviews are pretty much just winging it too. Silas knows a lot of the basics of machine learning, optimization, robotics, but when you drill down to specifics, he often doesn't know. Or you have exchanges like this. Is there any other skill set you have that I ought to know about? Silas gives you an English because look, I can't tell you about it. At the end of the day, you say goodbye to Silas, and as a stalling tactic, you say you'll make a decision in a few days. What's your decision? Well, chat? Is there any other skill set you have that I know about? I can't tell you. I mean, Silas could be a great barbecuer for all we know. Yeah, I mean, it really just sounds like super fucking, like, convenient, like, no, I can't tell you, it's all clearance, yes, I'm waving my hand like it's a fucking Jedi mind trick. Yes, it's totally. I couldn't possibly disclose that information, no, 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 it's, all hush-hush, very quiet. After stalling for a few days, you give Silas a call and let him know that he didn't get the job. After a pause, he says, "You'll regret that." Click. Great! So our relationship with him's probably not great. Also, there's someone we don't know that we have a 55% with. Great. Soon you have hired a handful of full-time technical employees from the area, and they help with the setup of the factory. They seem somewhat displeased to be working for you, though you're not sure which of your previous decisions is at fault. You keep a skeleton crew at first because you expect to use your own robots as labor bootstrap. As a result, getting to the production of the first robot takes somewhat longer than you expected. We lose a little bit of wealth. But Madison Rio is your prototype, and she gives you a fair idea of how your robot labor will go. You find she is reasonably skilled at moving around the factory floor manipulating tools. She is clever, but also sometimes insubordinate, questioning your decisions and taking initiative in ways you didn't anticipate. You catch her improving the production process very late in the factory's development, changing the robot's design so that they move with rapid precision. "It's my future body," she says when you catch her tinkering. "I think I have a right to improve it." It does seem like an improvement overall, but you expect the robot's sudden movements will alarm some people. You want to allow Madison to keep the change? Yeah. So this is happening. This is a thing in our reality. A quick flip, as a reminder, autonomy is our highest. It's good autonomy. Making choices on their own, which is what Chad has wanted them to do. We have our super cool dome that collects information from all across the galaxy. And we're having them not supervise themselves. But I mean, you know. In fairness, we only had Madison Rio anyway, so, like, we still needed some labor to, like, build these first fucking robots. Anyway, probably would have cost us some more wealth. All those Inspector Gadget arms, huh? Great. Sure, let's keep it. I want to encourage Madison Rio to take the initiative. Let's do it. Absolutely. Well done. Madison preens a little at your praise. It was nothing. Autonomy and grace, a little bit of loss of empathy. Unfortunately, this encouragement makes it still more difficult to get her to help in the ways you want, and you find the company going a little over budget in trying to get started, but your robot learning to improve itself is surely something to be encouraged, not discouraged. Finally, months after you've moved in, you are ready to pull the switch that starts the factory in motion as your workers, Mark, Madison Rio, and various invited members of the press look on. Raw wooden lumps start their way down a conveyor belt, where giant buzzsaw arms lie in wait. Wooden chips fly from the lumps as the saws loudly buzz away at the material to reveal a masked head. Oh my god, it's just a fucking, like, army of, like, these creepy as fuck masked heads with all these damn arms. Human-sized bipedal. Another machine drills 2 large holes for the robot's cameras. The next machine pushes the hollow robot head onto its side, and a robot arm delicately places the encrypted hard drive inside. Don't forget that. At this point, the conveyor belt meets another that is supplying the Venetian masks, each decorated with a slightly different gold leaf pattern. A glue gun shoots each mask from above, before a robot arm presses it to the head. A long line of wooden legs rolls in from another part of the factory, meeting a conveyor belt of Inspector Gadget arms. Well, we, at the first chapter, we chose, well, Chad chose to create the robot using the material and the appearance that we're seeing here now. The 3 tributaries of parts meet in the center of your factory, where humanoid robot workers perform the complex task of assembling the parts into the final robots. This final assembly line requires a great deal of careful manipulation of each part and adjustment to each robot part's subtle differences. This is the part that would be done by human labor at another factory, but here, your human employees only supervise the process, watching for any robot malfunctions that would stop the line.
Or alter it.
For this particular run, they call a halt after the first robot rolls off the line, so that you can celebrate. An exact duplicate of Madison Rio stands before you, ready to be shipped. Your staff cheers. Yes, it's lay wood. It's wood with a plastic filament. Or so it was described to us. It's bullshitium. MacGuffin. It's the MacGuffin. Mark smiles as he furiously takes down notes on his Chromebook, though you can't tell whether he's pleased with your work or his fame. My duplication appears successful, Rico, Madison says. How do you feel about your first shipment of robots? Yearn to spread my gene seed across, see my creation spread to the corners of the world. I have a strange feeling about this. Is this a good thing I've done? Finally, I'm seeing success. The world shall remember the name Rico Rico. God, I hope we don't go bankrupt. I like that number 2. Is this a good thing? Have I done a bad? Is this good? It's like at that moment, like right there, like, oh, perhaps the professor was right. Or maybe we were both wrong. I'm glad that chat is not going for option 3, though. That would really make us out to be the fame monster that Professor Zeeler accused us of being. Exactly, David. It's as bullshit as 3D printers are themselves. I haven't talked about this in a long time, but the first time I ever saw a 3D printer, it fucking blew my mind. Like, it baffled me. And it spooked me. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean, a 3D printer? You can't do that. With the passage of time, I've come to begrudgingly accept that they exist, and they no longer hurt my head as much as they used to, but, it was like the first piece of technology I experienced where I was like, oh, hell no. But then I saw like a little YouTube video of a 3D printer program to play that little jingle from Jurassic Park. And I accepted them a bit better. Live in a 3D printed house. You fucking kidding me? I'll be dead before then. Although people have, they've been made. There's like a couple in France who has one. Option 1 wins. Like, yeah, it's already being done, but I'll be dead before I live in a 3D printer house. Because my life expectancy isn't that high. It's not a bold proclamation to make. Seeing the assembly line is a dream come true. Every robot you send out into the world brings you joy. You admit there may be some code in these robots that isn't strictly necessary for their jobs, but you'd hate to deny these creatures the full riches of life. You started the line again and more robots begin to roll off the final assembly line. By the end of the day, you are standing in your large warehouse with over 200 Casket? 200 robots, 256 to be precise, lined up in a square formation, 16 on a side ready to be activated. Your audience from earlier in the day has gathered there as well. What will your production models use for mines? Madison Rio's initial state. I'll make the poll. Ready to learn and adapt to the client's needs with some effort on the client's part. Copies of Madison Rio's mind as of today. They'll be a little confused at first and they realize they're clones, but they'll get used to it. These robots don't really need sentience. I wrote a more traditional program that will do the job. These medical robots, so long as you people in the medical profession are willing to teach these robots. I am tickled that how, the primary feature now is not their dexterous grace or, their ability to connect with people, but the fact that they can be independent actors. They don't have to be given orders. They will take initiative. Yeah. I don't know. We're operating in the confines of this story, whatever it may be. Also operating under the confines of the route we've chosen thus far. To the story. I wonder how Ellie's doing. Maybe we'd be able to interact with her more if, we didn't decide to run our own company and go to fucking Alaska, yeah? Yeah, it's cool. It's fine. No problem. Option 1 wins. You hit a big red button on your phone that says, "Go!" using our programming language, sending a wireless signal to power on the robots. The robots all have the same programming, so when they look around curiously, they all look left in unison. Then all the robots look right, but some take a little longer than others. What unfolds is like a curious optical illusion, where order is gradually displaced with disorder. Tiny differences in the robot's input result in behavior that diverges, until every robot in the square is doing something different. Some say hello to each other, others become interested in their own Inspector Gadget arms, and so on. Robots inspect each other curiously and try to imitate each other's actions. The robots instinctively and quickly move to keep their distance from each other, resulting in tiny movements of one robot creating ripples down the line. You send a kill signal via wireless. The robots power down. Your audience seems to be at a loss for words. Your workers begin to mutter amongst themselves. They sound worried by the robot's chaotic behavior. These robots are non-optimal, Madison points out to you. Now they are. But they need to be non-optimal to be adaptive. You're still learning, but more slowly, because you've already decided what you'll be like. They're still blank slates, waiting to be shown how to be. Madison nods. I sure hope you know what you're doing, one of your human workers says. We don't. It takes months. Woo! Read ahead there. It takes months to train your robot workforce, since they must be educated from scratch, just as Madison was. You had forgotten how much personal attention that training process required. You had done it instinctually out of love, but your human workforce starts to complain that there is too much robot chow-rearing for them to handle. You end up needing to hire extra technical staff, who are generally surprised to learn what their true responsibilities are, minus wealth. Your human staff tries to ease their own work by telling the robots that they are built to serve, that humans are their masters. Being naive newborns. Your robots believe them. Loss of autonomy, increased empathy, increased military. So we curbed down that whole autonomy thing. We got some more empathy and we got a bit more military. It's not that far behind everything else now. Humans are their masters. After a few months, your first shipment to Galen Medical is ready. Like the surgeons and doctors themselves, your robots combine high competence with a brusque manner that often treats the patients themselves as a malfunctioning machine. They're all fucking Dr. House. Doctors respect your robots, and patients hate them. Luckily for your business, the patients have little say in the medical world, and your robot surgeon business does well. You find that with Rico Tech doing well, you have a little bit of spare time again. What would you like to do with it? Expand the business and get another big client from among the options presented earlier, or maybe spend more time with this robot of ours, our original baby. How you feeling here, chat? Remember that we started this chapter with no wealth. Who knows how much wealth we'll need to accomplish the things that we may want to do? We lost a bit of wealth along the way to hire robot nannies and to also prepare all the things we've done. Those human nannies we hired knew what the fuck was up. You are made to serve humanity. The problem, I mean, they're like fragile, like wooden, like design, so graceful and elegant. But we've given them the tools to defend themselves with their Inspector Gadget arms. They, self-defense courses for Madison and everything. At least her in particular. That's right, combat medic bots. Alright, we'll spend more time with Madison Rio. Despite your wanting to take a break from work to play with Madison Rio, it seems Madison is mostly curious now about what you do all day. If nobody is your boss, who pays you? hopefully clients. I make deals with them to sell them robots, and they eventually pay me. But then, who pays the robots? Nobody. They're my property because I made them. Madison appears uncomfortable.
Do you see me as your property?
MSH, this ends with the robot committing suicide because she's chosen not to be. We gave her the choice to whether she wanted to be or not to be ever so long ago. Wow, that got really dark really fast, huh? Shit, I'm sorry. Okay. Pulls over. Option 2 wins. Let's just, transition. Remember, submission is weakness. A dependent. Like a child? She asks. Very much so, you say. Madison appears moved by this statement, but you've probably also delayed her acceptance of responsibility. Good. Let's just calm that down a little bit. Empathy is great. There we go. Good work, chat. One day, while driving into work at the factory, you find that the crowd of human protesters is amassed outside your factory with picket signs. Some of the signs read, Humans greater than sign, robots, and Rage Against the Machine. Now testify. The protesters appear to be mostly college-age, dressed in t-shirts and jeans completely insufficient for Alaska's cold weather, and you absently wonder when 20-year-olds started looking so young. As you get out of your car, the protesters turn their attention to you. Oh boy. They've been commissioned by Professor Ziegler or someone. I know it's better that this is happening here instead of Silicon Valley, right? We're so distant away from these protesters. They've had to come all the way up here to protest. It shows how much they really care, damn it. So attempt to convince them that Ricotech is acting for the good of humanity, does not deserve to be picketed. Find Madison and get her to speak to the protesters. I actually do like that idea. They might have a severe bias on that, but she's empathetic. She might be able to work a crowd. Oh, that'd be fucking scary, right? This creature with, like, this wooden filigreed, like, mask. Inspector Gadget arms. Trying to connect with, like, this crowd of, like, people who've already made up their minds and they're fucking so angry that they've come all the way out here to be angry. Alright, option 2. This is gonna be great. A few minutes later, you emerge from the factory of Madison in tow. Please stop! This is my home! A protester hurls a rock at Madison, leaving a dent in her head. Another rock follows, hitting her arms. Eventually, the police show up, but not before the protesters have caused her significant damage. I think I might be starting to hate humans. Madison tells you in private later as you're patching her up. So that empathy we gained is lost. So that autonomy we lost, well, I think all of it actually, is back. What the fuck is wrong with you, chat? Sending your darling dependent, almost like a child. Go talk to them. You can do it. You managed to make her nearly as good as new by using parts from some of your other newer robots, but the damage to her psyche may persist. So now this character may be starting to hate humans. Well, I'm sure that'll go great. Now that you've worked out the kinks on how to deal with intelligent robot labor, you could probably license your technology to other companies so that they could produce similar robots while paying you hefty royalties.
Would you like to do that?
I wonder how our investors feel by all of the work we've done. You know, they've bought into the company. Our angel, super kind and sweet investors that we lured because of how famous we were. Option 4 wins. Strongly so. You decide not to license your robot technology. Other companies may not be as careful as you in choosing how the robots are treated and to what uses they are put. You would prefer to retain control from it for now. Tech seems to be doing fine financially, and you begin to think about the things you could purchase with money. You've been concentrating so much on your robots, you haven't given much thought to what you could do with your money besides expand the business. What will you spend your funds on? You will have the opportunity to buy more than one thing if you can afford it.
Oh my goodness! There is so much stuff! Holy shit! Ah! We have 6 wealth! We're famous! We can buy all the things!
I can't do a poll directly for this. That's too many options. I don't feel comfortable doing that. We'll first start off by a simple thing. Do you want to save the money? Let's start here. Do we owe it to Madison to take her on a cruise now after that horrible experience with people throwing fucking rocks at her to try and, like, repair her psyche? Okay. Alright, we'll end the poll there. We're not saving this money. At least some of it will be spent. Alright. Let's put these questions here. And users can vote for this many options. I have allowed viewers to vote for all 6 options that I'm putting in. Maybe not do that. Maybe 5 options. 5 out of the 6. Viewers can vote for 5 out of the 6 options. A house, nice mansion, cruise, charity, perfect body. As a reminder, at least according to you will be able to vote for multiple options. So chat is going to go fucking crazy. You probably need to put in all the numbers individually instead of all together. No, you can put in the numbers like all together, like 4, 6, 6, 4. I stand corrected. My apologies, everyone. I have like a little display where I can see like the chat scroll on the poll and like where it's properly registering votes. So you can either use the commas, or if you've punched in a number and then want to add something to it, you can add something else. You just can't take anything away. Okay. That looks pretty solid. I like it. I think based on how strong chat is leaning here, we're going to do both the cruise as well as the perfect body. We will spend most of the wealth here on this. We'll do what we do. First off, we can build the body first, then we'll go on the cruise to show her the world in her perfect body. With this kind of wealth at your disposal, you spare no expense in making Madison Rio the beautiful robot you've always imagined was possible. Madison Rio's new face is silver with gold detailing, and her eyes are tinted with... and of course they're tinted. Lapis lazuli. It is a face that commands awe and respect. The rest of Madison's bipedal form, you replace the old wooden parts with new lightweight alloys that should be durable, graceful, and pleasing to the eye. Madison is thrilled with the change. Thank you. Giving you a heartfelt hug. Great! She loves us and probably won't murder us. We have an impressive... She's impressive, Grace. And we have some disposable income. Time to go on a cruise now to show her the world. You spend 2 weeks seeing the sights of the Mediterranean with Madison Rio. You start in Egypt, visiting the pyramids and the Sphinx. Impressive reminders of how good engineering survives the test of time. You then see Istanbul. Madison does not stop singing They Might Be Giants the whole time. Athens and the site of Plato's old academy. Italy. But why do so many people flock to poorly functioning architecture, Rico? The southern coast of France, and finally Tunisia, where the most important site for you in Madison is the site where they filmed the original Star Wars. Madison's experience with other cultures will help her get along better with people from other countries. It's a +2 empathy and -1 military. Good, we're salving over that horrible situation with, you know, everything. Alright, let's save the money. Life is uncertain, and you never know when you might need some extra funds. You decide to keep your remaining money. With Rico Tech doing reasonably well, you may attempt to undermine Josh's business. He's still selling robot drones as his core business, and if you wanted to, you could sell comparable robots at a loss to drive him out of business. For those of you who may be unaware, Josh was a friend of ours that we met under curious circumstances, him and another person. Like, we're out on a date together, like a fucking prom or something, and then, like, we were busy, like, testing a thing at the dance. We've interacted with him a little bit, not much in any significant way. He works for US Robots. He's a generally good guy, according to what the game has said. Generally good person. He's, you know, spoken well and kindly to us. We even could have gotten a job with him, but we decided not to. Who knows where our autonomy will go further, and what our choices will be if we actually do end up getting a merger. Who can say? At least Rigotech is doing reasonably well, though, right, folks? So that we have the power to make all these choices. Alright, let's call him on the phone. It's been a while. We got a good relationship with him. It's not great. We haven't gone out with him or anything. You call up Josh. Hey! You know, I could have learned a lot from you. It takes a lot more than a good idea to make a product that changes the world. Yeah. You were right. We'd make a great team. Are you suggesting a merger? Yes, I suppose I am. Forget it. We're better off just letting US Robots die. I'll come work for you as an advisor. Josh gratefully takes a position in your company as Chief Operations Officer, and you welcome him on the first day with an office already decorated with Les Zeppelin pose? Yes! Yes! knockoff Led Zeppelin posters, and a good sound system. He does, in fact, know what he's doing when it comes to company operations. Plus 2 wealth. A few months later, you're catching up on tech blogs, and you see a photograph of one of your robots, only it's not your robot. The story is about an upstart Chinese robotics company funded in part by the Chinese government itself. We believe this company will help us finally make Mao's dream a reality, says party official. If robots do all the labor, it will allow China to modernize while at the same time bringing out the bad cycles of exploitation that occur in the West. How in the world did the Chinese steal your technology? Your own company security personnel claim there's no evidence of a break-in. Unconvinced, you hire a consultant to look into the matter. The consultant finds malware lurking not only in your laptop, but in the brains of your robots, including Madison herself. The security consultant says there are telltale signs of the malware being Chinese in origin. You can tell, for example, the person who remotely logged into your machines used a Chinese keyboard layout, given some particular Unicode characters lingering in your server's RAM. But I had all kinds of antivirus running. I took every reasonable precaution. That stuff's a scam. It detects the script kiddies, but leaves you vulnerable to real bad guys. You know what happened to McAfee, the guy who started the whole antivirus business? Led to Belize eventually to hook up with young women and do drugs. He proceeds to tell you some sordid tale. Behind the man whose software scans all your computers, if you aren't listening, perhaps if we had Silas, his expertise and knowledge would have been able to help us. You take advantage of your computer consultant to educate yourself and your robots on code exploit and the proper defense against them. A blind spot in your computer science education, but for now, the damage is done. -2 wealth. The wealth we got from Josh is gone. A few weeks later, you wake up to a blaring alarm while it's still dark. Perhaps it's good that we had, like, the hard drive on Madison that made it encrypted, but, it wasn't perfect. It's your phone and it only has that annoying alarm for a few specific callers. Reach over and check it. From BizCbot12. Explosion at Alaska factory. Fire department on its way. 3 human supervisors missing. Some robots trapped inside. Suspected cause of an explosion is bombing. What objective will you tell your physical security robots to prioritize until you got there? Everything's just gonna be blamed on Silas now. It's all Silas's fault. It's okay, everyone. Madison Rio has the perfect body. If nothing else, we still have her. This maybe ends up sparking what we end up doing to take over Alaska. Who can say? So, free to trap robots, look for the human survivors, try to find the bomber, try to rescue the expensive laser cutters and 3D printers, stay safe. This definitely does not sound like something that's going to be great for our wealth. At least we're still famous. We're a local celebrity. Totally local. Oh my god, JC, a bomb! Bomb. We're gonna look for the missing human supervisors first and foremost. Okay. You quickly text back that physical security should look for the missing supervisors. Then you drive down to the factory in your ancient Toyota Yaris. You come to the factory just before sunrise, the fiery blaze bright orange against the early morning indigo sky. A dark column of smoke reaches up to block out the full moon. Josh is already there, black with suit, carrying the bulky 3D printers and laser cutters. Good thing we had Josh, right? Your PhysSec robots appear to have found the missing supervisors, huddled under blankets, coughing and black with suit, but okay. You think you hear a car starting in the parking lot. You see an old BMW banging out his face, the headlights off. It looks like Silas at the wheel. Josh has a brief coughing fit as he turns around to head back into the burning building. Tell the robots to stop Silas, stop Josh from going back to the burning building, try to save more ruts. Actually, wooden robots are probably not the best in a fire. They've done enough already, and they should hang back. Yeah. No, so he just stayed at the scene. Silas doesn't seem to have been a person in the greatest of minds. Not a whole lot of people want the robots to go after Silas. Well, some people. Chat is strongly divided here. You've done enough already, robots. You don't have to chase after Silas, it's fine. Metal Slime Hunt's like, Silas isn't in the fire, you fools. We can't let Josh die. What the fuck gives you the impression he's gonna die? I mean, I don't know whether the robots will be able to catch Silas, their bipedal nature. If only they were helicopters, right? Tank treads rolling after Silas, but he might not be expecting it, who knows? Anyway, this poll is over. I haven't voted. We're going with choice 1. I will not pick choice 4 over that. Your robots race across the parking lot, but Silas guns the engine and rams straight through your robots before they have a chance to react. Tires squeal as he rounds the corner of the parking lot and is gone. The robots slowly pick themselves off the ground and gather their broken limbs. Eventually, the fire department arrives to help you combat the flames, and the firefighters' efforts take well into the day. The blaze is finally put out by the afternoon. The damage isn't as bad as it could have been, since thankfully we do have Josh. The robots grumble that you didn't seem to think their friends trapped at the factory were worth saving. Secretly, you do believe they were replaceable, but your robots seem to recognize this. They begin decorating their frames with different paint and ornaments in an effort to make themselves seem less interchangeable. Your rescued employees apologize for their weird hours getting them in trouble. They seem to appreciate the effort you took in saving them. You're a little worried about how Silas got away. You suspect that, like the villains say, you haven't seen the last of him. You file a police report and suspect the police's efforts will prove ineffectual. I guess it could have been worse. I'm pretty sure it could have been. Were you really going to risk your life to save your stuff? I guess sometimes I lose track of what's important. I'm sure you can relate. I don't know what you're talking about. Psh! Josh makes a disgusted noise, but in a way that suggests he's used to you. You spend a little while chatting about nothing, slowly reminding the other that you'll be there when needed. A few weeks later, a politician visits you at the factory. One Jacqueline Irons, a representative from Alaska. You vaguely remember hearing that she was once a venture capitalist who rose to fame on the success of her Fox webcast, Against the Man, in which she pilloried unsuspecting guests as examples of privileged elites. There have also been rumors of her running for president soon. You can imagine why I'm here, she tells you in your office, leaning over your desk. Like many politicians these days, she wears a neticle, a monocle with a small screen visible only to her in which she can read messages from her advisors and speechwriters, some of whom are watching her interactions at all times. You think the neticle is probably recording even now. Politicians love to weave moments in which they look good into their streaming video commercials. Recording all that stuff like that does seem dangerous, but what the hell do I know? Her hair is cropped short, but her fingernails are long and pink, and she wears a broad-shouldered suit. I heard about the explosion at your factory. I've promised my constituents that I would not tolerate big industry turning us into another China, where workers' lives are held in contempt. Yet it seems safety standards at your factory are not up to par. Yes. Yes. Yes, that's what happened. What exactly do you want, you ask guardedly? A substantial campaign contribution would show your heart is in the right place. You're fairly certain she has the power to hurt your business if you anger her, but your options are somewhat limited due to your current financial situation. We have no wealth left, so we can't exactly go making a campaign contribution to this lady. Sure, here's $100. Afraid I don't have a significant amount of wealth to spare. Sorry. You want my support? Pass laws that will keep China from stealing my technology. Too bad we can't donate to our opponent. Alright, option 3. Strongly so. Representative Irons seems surprised. Excuse me? You describe in detail how the Chinese stole your robot designs. She seems genuinely angry by the end. They'll pay for this. But the person who has the most power to set international policy is the president. Will you support me? We don't have any money. Like, anyone who checks our bank account will know that we don't have any money. We are broke. We have no money. We got nothing. We got some humanity. We got a bad relationship with Silas. Fucking, that may be how he feels about us, but I think we feel much more strongly about him. You will regret this. Way to go. And he gets away. No, there was an explosion, you know. Yeah, I also feel like the first option is just an insult. It's not a significant campaign contribution. Broke meant that we couldn't start our company up ourselves, for what that's worth. We do have the Death Dome, at least. It's probably a bit more deathy. She scowls. I'm sure the budget is tight this year, but you may find friends are priceless in the end, and you've just lost one. She turns and walks out the door. Representative Irons does run for president, running on a platform of preventing robots and foreign companies from stealing American jobs. It's a message that hits the American public at just the right time since unemployment is soaring. Though economists tell the public the unemployment is a natural and temporary result of new technology displacing old skilled jobs, it turns out to be a much less effective election year message than raging against the privileged, the elites, and the technocracy. As Representative Irons puts in her speeches, what are they doing with their money? Who are they giving it to? To robots? To foreigners? To each other? To anybody but the American people? You think she is probably talking about you. Since you think she is ultimately on your side, why would our character think that? You are cautiously optimistic when Representative Irons wins the presidency. True to her word, she begins a policy of heavy embargoes against Chinese goods. In retaliation, China cuts off all exports of rare earths and the batteries derived from them. Suddenly the cost of all the little miniaturized electronics people have grown accustomed to, cell phones, laptops, wearable computing, becomes prohibitively expensive. President Irons makes demands that China reverse its embargoes on rare earths, or the United States will be forced to contemplate all policies at its disposal, including military force if necessary. It is in this delicate situation that on April 10, 2026, the Chinese Prime Minister is assassinated by an unemployed American during a parade in San Francisco. The Prime Minister is replaced by a younger party official who is eager to show that China is unafraid of the United States. China attacks several islands in the South China Sea that has long disputed with its neighbors. And I know Silas? President Irons, unwilling to show weakness, responds with a drone attack on bases on the Chinese mainland. The robot war has begun. Yeah, so at least, you know, we got rare earths up there in Alaska where we set up our factory. And, you know, at least, telling President Irons about that whole, like, Chinese war thing that we lost wealth over, unfortunately. Yeah, that, whole Chinese, at least, it got her focused on something else besides us, but she's raging against the technocrats, the people who might, you know, favor robots over humans, and, our character could lean that way, you know? Although, we did tell the robot to save the human supervisor first. We've looked better. Anyway, Robot War, everyone. Yay, Robot War! Woo! Robot War! Robot War! It's gonna be great! Here we are in fucking Alaska as the Robot War begins. Awesome. A company you founded survived its startup phase. Achievement for us. So, next time we have some disposable income to look forward to. We're 30 years old in the year 2025. President Irons has a neutral relationship with us. China and the United States have a, well, this is happening. And here's a summary for Chapter 4, which we can read during the next broadcast. Okay! That's Choice of Robots. At least the first 4 chapters of it. We've done a lot. We've learned a lot. Many things have happened. We've got an alright relationship with the President of the United States. She didn't need our help to win election after all. We got her distracted by China, and well... well... yeah. Certainly feels as if chat could have made stronger choices, but chat could have made weaker choices as well. Our prime robot, Madison, is mostly graceful, high autonomy, high empathy, a little bit of stability. Madison and the robots have gone through some hell in the process of their creation and development. Our whole startup thing in the factory. And you gotta imagine that, like, creating our own company, like, would have played out much different than any other path that we chose as well. Like, this was, like, Chapter 3 really seemed like it got divergent with our relationship with Professor Ziegler and, like, where we moved on. But then, like, spreading out the Chapter 4 there, where instead of working with Josh's company or just living not as an entrepreneur, but, like, free and broke, like, we went into becoming an entrepreneur. A lot of divergent paths there, and we went even further divergent in this MMC Executive Suite and this recreation of that. Yeah. You know, there's a reason why I know so many people and have friends who've played this and enjoyed this so thoroughly. It's not a surprise, the intricacies of it, with how many fucking words is in it, but it's been interesting. And not, like, enraging, Les Zeppelin excluded. It's more, we haven't had to read about moist lips or any other things that have caused, like, fucking table flips. It's been alright. I've even learned along the way. And that's been, yes. Learning is dangerous, though. Just ask the robots that. Yeah. I asked you folks earlier in the broadcast how you felt about this game. So far it seems like, you kids sticking around, have enjoyed this enough to have another broadcast of this, and another broadcast of this we will have. Not today, of course. Yes, another broadcast today. I'm thinking that the next broadcast we're going to have of this is, Wednesday next week. That will be the 17th of April. Same start time, which is between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Same start time as this broadcast. If I have another cast this week, it's not going to be this game, or it won't be 40K Inventory Management Simulator either. It'll give me time to give my throat a break, give you folks some time to reflect and think about this stuff, to catch up on parts that you missed of this. Been pretty alright. No problems with it at all. If you want to share any final thoughts with the chat or with the local recording, you can do so now. Pretty good. I do these broadcasts because, you know, I shared those Goosebump stories on YouTube so many years ago. I enjoy the intricacies of a group of people making choices and seeing the stories that they want to tell. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy playing role-playing games. You know, Dungeons & Dragons, Blades in the Dark, 13th Age. That sort of thing. Shadowrun. The ebbs and flows of things, you know, and the choices that people would make that I wouldn't make. Our wooden, graceful Inspector Gadget bipedal robot. That would not do great in a fire situation. Alright, that takes care of this.